Fasten your seatbelts. The WSAV CW Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week is kicking it into high gear.
Here's Naughty Thomas past the 40, puts on the Jets. Naughty Thomas, 76 yards. Touchdown, Phoenix.
Tonight, a war to settle the score as high-powered Statesboro journeys to Jessup to square off with 5A contender Wayne County. The colors will fly as the Blue Devils battle the Yellow Jackets in a Georgia high school football showdown. And it's coming your way now. Now, your Savannah and Low Country Honda dealers present the WSAV CW Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week.
Well, it's that time of year. It's our favorite time of year on WSAV Sports as the Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week takes over Big WSAV as we open Georgia high school football region play. And we've got a good one on tap for you tonight out of that fascinating 5A region. The upstart rebuilding Statesboro Blue Devils are looking really good after a big win over Effingham County a couple weeks ago. And tonight they go on the road to 4-1 Wayne County High School. So great to have you with us tonight alongside Jim Johnson from the Explosive Recruiting Radio Show and SouthernPigskin.com. I'm WSAV Sports Director Greg Talbot. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your Friday night with us. And Jim, entering this year, we all knew that 5A Region 2 was the most interesting region around here because any of those 5 teams could potentially win the region, including these 2 tonight.
And what's interesting about a 5-team region is that 4 of those teams are going to make the postseason. So simply getting a win tonight, even though it's the region opener, can effectively sew up a playoff spot for one of these teams.
Let's learn a little bit more about these Statesboro Blue Devils. They are probably not the favorites tonight, but they certainly, like we said a couple seconds ago, turned heads a couple weeks ago when they beat Effingham County out of 6A 35-0, and their coaches think tonight's game is going to be really good.
Regional matchup, Wayne County, Statesboro have been playing each other for a long time, dating back a long time. Some really good contests that have gone both ways. You know, Wayne has had a few really, really good years. You know, we're still trying to break through and do a little more than be a 3 seed coming out of the region. So it's a good matchup against what we feel is 2 good football teams.
All right, let's take a look at their Ford keys to the game tonight, brought to you by your local Ford dealers. And Jim, the big one for them is right there at the top. It always is. They want to control and manage the game by running that clock and owning the time of possession.
And though this is a better team, Wayne County is still expected to win. So if you can limit the opposing possessions, that's a smaller sample size for Wayne County to prove that talent disparity.
All right, this segment of the Friday Night Blitz on WSAV is brought to you by your Savannah and Low Country Honda dealers. Now is a fantastic time to buy a new Honda. Great deals are waiting at your local Savannah and Low Country Honda dealer. All right, let's talk about the big boys. Wayne County off to a 4-1 start, expected to repeat as region champs. We're catching up with Ken Cribb and the Yellow Jackets next.
Now, your Savannah and Low Country Honda dealers present the WSAV CW Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week.
JC Stadium in Jessup, one of the great high school football venues in Southeast Georgia. And as we open up region play tonight, we have folks starting to file in from those parking lot tailgates for a 7:30 kickoff between the Yellow Jackets and the visiting Statesboro Blue Devils. So glad to have you with us tonight once again alongside Jim Johnson from SouthernPigskin.com and the Explosive Recruiting Radio Show. I'm WSAV Sports Director Greg Talbot. So, Jim, we just talked about Statesboro. Wayne County, like we said, went undefeated in the regular season last year. Are they expected to repeat as region champs, or is there a chance that South Effingham or Ware or maybe even Statesboro knocks them off this year?
Well, like we talked about, this region is wide open, but if you're making me pick a favorite right now, I will stick with Wayne County because ultimately football is a game still won in the trenches. Betting on Wayne County to have a good offensive line is like betting on the sun to rise, and they have one yet again.
All right, let's talk a little bit more about these Yellow Jackets. This is the third year at the helm for Ken Cribb, who came down from Bluffton, and he's done an amazing turnaround job. They lost a lot of kids from last year's undefeated regular season, but they're off to a 4-1 record this year. And now let's see their Ford keys to the game brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Number one for them, Jim, is they know just like Statesboro wants to keep Wayne's offense on the field, they want it the other way. You can't let Statesboro keep it for 10-minute drives.
No, absolutely. If you're the better team, then you need to be able to assert your will, to assert your dominance in all facets of the game. Wayne County should be the better team. We'll see if they can do that.
All right, this segment of the Friday Night Blitz is brought to you by your Savannah and Low Country Honda dealers. Your Savannah and Low Country Honda dealers are proud supporters of local high school football on WSAV. All right, that's enough talking about 5A Region 2. Let's get to it. We've been waiting this game for weeks on Big WSAV. It's the Blue Devils and the Yellow Jackets. It's a color battle, and it's next. We'll get rid of these boxes. Live from Jessup, the Friday Night Blitz game of the week on WSAV is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Ford, go further. It is so great to have you with us tonight on Big WSAV from JC Stadium in Jessup as the Statesboro Blue Devils come down to open region play against the red-hot Wayne County Yellow Jackets. Statesboro coming into this game at 3-2 on the season, 3 straight wins, then back-to-back losses, although those were against awfully good teams, including Burt County last week, and Wayne County, as you would expect, off to a red-hot start, 4-1. And when you talk about this Wayne County team, Jim, you have to talk about the fact that they went undefeated in the regular season last year, ran through this region, ended it with a big win here on WSAV against Ware County. A lot of people, our Thursday Blitz Countdown high school football talk show included, kind of thought that Wayne County might take a step back, but as always, Ken Cribb knows exactly what he has in his players, and he's turned them into an awfully good team.
Well, Ken Cribb just does such a fantastic job. And, you know, the pedigree does matter. Sometimes learning to win is important, and winning is contagious, right? I mean, we see that time and time again at every level of football. When you can build a consistent winner, it's easier to stay at the top, right? It's a lot easier to stay good than it is to get good.
Yeah, it certainly is, and we'll talk about this more as the game goes on, but in terms of coaches that you would tab to have a team ready, no matter what the components are on the team, I think it's always hard to bet against Ken Cribb. I think I would like Ken Cribb to have a team ready just as much as any coach in the area.
Well, he does such a good job, I think, of developing skill position talent, because you can't really teach big, right? Some guys are just big. They have those big uglies up front, but they've always had that for the most part. I think he's developed another level of athlete in Wayne County that has helped get them to the heights that they've reached.
Yeah, no question about it. Ken Cribb, of course, longtime head coach at Bluffton, took them deep into the playoffs on multiple occasions. Came down here a couple years ago to Wayne County where he became the athletic director and the head coach. Time to go down to the field for tonight's Honda Coin Toss, brought to you by your Savannah and Low Country Honda dealers. We have the players and referees mic'd up, so let's take you down to the field to hear how this game's going to begin. Toss, called by Wayne. They've won it. Looks like they prefer. No, Wayne County will receive. So we will see this offense first. So, Jim, this Wayne County offense is arguably, despite the fact, like you said, they've had the big uglies and they had a couple great linebackers last year, truly it is the offense where a Ken Cribb team always shines, and that's what we're going to see first.
Yeah, and, you know, this offense is putting up just under 40 points per game, and they're such a high-flying,
Fasten your seatbelts.
you're going to have a hard time pretty much any defense that's going to run up against this Wayne County team. And we've seen that time and time again. Even in their lone loss to Glenn Academy, they still dropped 35 points on the Terrors. So going to be a challenge for anybody.
And that game against Glenn Academy, by the way, they were winning that game. Let's not overlook that. It's not like they were losing that game the whole way. They had the Terrors not against the ropes, but they were beating them.
Sure, and you're talking about a team in Glenn Academy that's going to win. I feel pretty comfortable saying they're, in all likelihood, going to win that 6A region.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when you think about that 6A region. Last couple of years, there have been teams that have contended that have since fallen off. And there's the man we're talking about. Now athletic director and head coach Ken Cribb came down here a couple of years ago. Region title last year. We were here for their final game of the year when they beat Ware County in an instant classic on the Friday Night Blitz game of the week. Fans still filing in here at JC Stadium as we get ready for tonight's opening kickoff, brought to you by the law firm of Farah and Farah. Here for you, here for good.
Quincy Fairclough. Head linesman is Danny Hudson. Line judge is Craig Hubbard. Side judge is Chris Brown. Your field judge is Jamie Joe. Back judge is Kevin Russell. Clock operator is Joe.
All right, there's Cody Parker at the 40 ready to kick this one away for Statesboro, and we will see the Wayne County offense first after this kick.
Kicking off for Statesboro.
Like we said in the pregame show, this entire region is the most interesting in the area. Anyone could win it. The battle for the region title starts now on WSAV. Here's Parker's kick. That one muffed inside the 5-yard line. And a moderate return that time. Okay, so let's take a look and learn a little bit more about this Wayne County offense, Jim. They look different than last year. Shamar Taylor was their quarterback that took them to that undefeated regular season last year. He's still on the team, but he's been moved to wide receiver. Trey Pierce is the new QB1.
Yeah, and Shamar Taylor has gotten a couple. I know they've used him in a couple packages here and there, throwing the ball. But Trey Pierce is their quarterback, and only a sophomore. I'll be interested to see because he's done a good job leading this offense, but his role has not been excessively large. They've done a good job managing the burden that he has to carry.
All right, pretty good field position. He'll keep it himself on first down and find a nice hole between his offensive linemen as he jumps ahead toward the 35-yard line. Didn't quite get there, but it's going to be a pretty good gain on the play. And the Statesboro defense always has a couple of big dudes on the other side, huh?
Gain of 9, 2nd and 1.
Oh, absolutely. And one guy that stands out to me on their defense is going to be Xavier Lee. He's got an offer from Reinhardt right now. He's running about 5'11", close to 300 pounds. So because of the height, he's probably not a Division I prospect, or certainly not an FBS or Power 5 prospect. Oh,
bad snap. Pierce will just fall on it as the Statesboro defense is ready to get there. First one flying in there on coverage was Ames Ratcliffe, a junior, bringing up a long third down. It was just 2nd and 2. And I don't know if that's pregame jitters or what, but all of a sudden sticking yourself in 3rd down and way long is not the way you want to start this drive. And because Pierce's helmet came off, he may have to sit this play. We'll see what they do. Yeah, he's going back to the sideline. So we will likely here see Shamar Taylor, last year's quarterback, fly back in. Looks like they got it back on in time, so Pierce will come back out here. Like we said, Trey Pierce, first-year starting quarterback, only started one game last year. Cribb wanted to move him to QB this year because he views him as a very complete QB. I was wondering why they were letting him back in the game. Looks like they're going to have to keep him out just for one play. So that'll in all likelihood change up this play call, and we will see Shamar Taylor, number 1 there on the middle of your screen, likely line up as the quarterback. He was last year's QB1. But the fascinating thing about Shamar Taylor, Jim, is that although they moved him to receiver this year, he's been amazing. He's become their leading receiver right away.
Yeah, and when you just have an athlete of that caliber, you still have to find ways to get him the ball.
Wayne County
And on the opening drive, Wayne County forced to burn a timeout because of the confusion. We're going to take a quick break here on WSAV and come right back with 3rd down and long for the Yellow Jackets. The Friday Night Blitz game of the week from Jessup, Georgia at Wayne County is brought to you by the law firm of Farah & Farah. Here for you, here for good. Kind of a bungled opening series here for the Wayne County Yellow Jackets. A high snap goes over the head of their quarterback on 2nd down and short, turning it into 3rd and long. Shamar Taylor will take the opening snap and pitch it off to Antoine McBride. Defense there to gobble it up for almost no gain on the play. 2nd tackle already for Ames Ratcliffe, and that brings up 4th down.
Yeah, defensemen did a good job of keeping contained there, forcing Wayne County to punt. That was an atypical first drive for a Ken Cribb team.
And I'll tell you, it's not like Ken Cribb runs a system offense. He always works around the skill players he has, but his teams are usually as disciplined as any system team.
Number 1, Will Young.
Yawn back to receive, but it's not going to get quite far enough. Kick's only going to go to about midfield and then takes a good Wayne County bounce down around the 40-yard line. And it's time to see the Statesboro Blue Devils offense for the first time. And like it's really been since Jeff Kaiser took over as the head coach back in 2017, this is a team, Jim, that has really returned to its option roots.
Yeah, one guy that I'm really looking forward to seeing is Jalen Roberson, the running back. Interestingly enough, over the offseason, he was not invited to the opening regional, the big Nike camp for all the top prospects, but he went to the combine the day before and put up such freaky numbers. They told him to come back the next day and participate in the event.
There have been a bunch of fast Robersons out of not only Effingham but Statesboro the last couple of years as well.
Yeah, Roberson just sort of continuing that lineage, I think. And obviously they have some other good skill talent, but he should be the focal point of their offense.
All right, this is Drake Horton, QB. They're going to throw on 1st down. How often do you see that out of Statesboro? And it's intercepted. This is Davis. Running it back all the way toward the 35-yard line. And you know Wayne County's got a good defense, but you don't see Statesboro turn it over very often, especially through the air.
Yeah, and theoretically, we talked about in the pregame, what do you want to do? Ball control. Keep Wayne County's offense off the field. A good way to put yourself in an early hole is giving them the ball back immediately after forcing a great 3-and-out.
Jackets ball at the Statesboro 36-yard line.
The only receiver really in the area there was Jaden Wilkerson. It appeared that he had turned back and the ball might have been behind him. I think he was expecting to pass if it was coming earlier in his route.
I guess so, and maybe you're trying to catch him off guard there as far as the play call goes, but boy, that backfired.
All right, great field position here for the Yellow Jackets, and they will pitch it to Shamar Taylor behind a couple of blockers. He turns upfield inside the 30 toward the 25. He really made an impact last year as the quarterback. He was a fast guy, dual threat. Ken Cribb chose to make him really more of a feature back, feature wide receiver this year, and he has really been the chugging engine in his offense.
And you saw really good vision and patience there on that carry, where maybe that's going back to some of his quarterback days, right? It's one thing to take a 3-step drop, sit back, move through your progression. Well, running the ball too. You got to try to find the hole just like you find the open man when you're the passer.
All right, so here's the sophomore quarterback, Trey Pierce, out of the gun on the new 1st down. Khalees Hadley goes in motion. They swing it off to Taylor, and he's just gobbled up by a couple of Statesboro defenders for a short gain on the play. And you know what's funny? Statesboro's offense has certainly improved over the course of the last couple of years since Jeff Kaiser has come back into the fold as the head coach. But their defense has really stepped it up the last couple of years. They don't allow that many points.
Well, and that's going to be the difference for them in this game is how their defense plays against this high-flying Wayne County offense. Seems like a concerted effort early to get McCollum involved. So you would like to see Statesboro, continue to gang tackle, to fly to the ball, and especially to key on him.
Pierce, 5'11", 160 pounds, still has a lot more growing to do into his body. Hands it off here to Khalees Hadley, an absolute wrecking ball of a junior running back. He powers forward toward the 20-yard line. He's their #1 guy this year. He was a good running back last year, kind of in the fold behind their all-star running back, MJ Fuller. He showed some big-time moments, and Ken Cribb thinks he's ready to step up in 2019.
He's not the biggest guy, but what he does a good job of is taking what the offensive line gives him. And when you have an offensive line like Wayne County's does, they're going to give you a heck of a lot.
They might not always have special teams. They might not always have secondary, but Wayne County is always going to have an offensive line. And they'll usually have a couple of receivers. That one intended over the top for Terrell Wright, but it's knocked away.
Looked like he had him there a little bit earlier in the route. Maybe waited a beat too long and turned a little bit dangerous, throwing the ball into two guys there, but not a terrible idea. I don't hate taking a shot.
And look at that play design on their second drive. That is a very Ken Cribb 4 receivers going out play call. Looks like something you'd call in the Madden video game, right?
Oh, yeah. Just send everybody deep. They'll figure it out.
Love Ken Cribb offenses. Okay, 3rd down and 7 here for the sophomore quarterback, Pierce. That's Kane lining up to the bottom of your screen. Pierce into coverage, and it's intercepted by Statesboro. That one back down inside their 20-yard line, and it's ripped away by Ames Ratcliffe. He's got 2 tackles on defense and now an interception.
Pierce was looking to hit that comeback there on the sideline. The defense read it perfectly, were all over it from the get-go. There was never any second guessing where he was going with that football, and, well, it ended up going the other way.
So Wayne County throws an interception on their second possession of the game. Statesboro threw one on their very first play. And let's talk a little bit about the unit we haven't gotten to see yet, who just picked off the interception. The Statesboro defense, certainly a bunch of studs out there. And on first down, that play goes pretty much nowhere for the Blue Devils.
Tackled by number 28, Ray Davis. And 6.
Picks up 6 yards on the play, bringing up 2nd down. And as opposed to the Wayne County offense, where they've only got 4 or 5 guys that touch the ball, Jim, Statesboro could go to about 15 different kids. And on 2nd down, they will hand it off to Audrell Grace, but flags coming in.
Penalty on the play, false start against the Blue Devils.
And that'll push them back just a little bit farther. False start against Statesboro, and the good news for them is, although they really still do keep it on the ground, they're a Statesboro team that has gone more multiple as the years have gone on. It used to be a death blow to have a false start on offense if you're Statesboro, because it's just harder to pick up yardage on the ground. But the fact that they're willing to throw it more these last couple of years makes it easier.
Well, we saw that on the first drive. They were willing to throw it on the first play from scrimmage. Now, obviously, you got to make better decisions and execute a little bit better. But the willingness, even the sheer threat of it, can make you a little bit tougher to defend.
And then a personal foul call against Wayne County. And that'll be a first down.
That's one way to convert on 1st and 15.
Hey, man, after throwing an interception on your first play from scrimmage, you're looking for any good juju you can get to get the offense going.
Sure.
All right, the sophomore Timothy Taylor split to the top of your screen as the main wide receiver threat. Jalen Roberson lines up there in the backfield alongside Drake Horton. He's a 2nd-year starting quarterback for the Blue Devils. And Wayne County jumps.
Penalty flag on the field. Offside.
That was Pritchard jumping across the line.
Well, Pritchard's a really good player there for Wayne County. I mean, just a little mistake there, but has an offer from Lenore Ryan. Could play defensive end or outside linebacker at the next level. You're going to hear his name a lot tonight, I think, but hopefully in different ways than that.
Pretty good-sized Division II schools that are certainly known for winning their respective conferences interested in him. Maybe a couple D1 offers on the way for him by the end of the year. Go up the middle there to Jalen Roberson, one of the speediest guys in this 5A region. He's tackled for a short loss. But like you said, Jim, this kid is an absolute speed demon.
Well, that's the thing, right? You know, with Statesboro, yes, you want to have balance, and balance not just in run-pass balance, run balance in touch distribution more specifically. But Jalen Roberson, because of his physical gifts, should be your primary option regardless of how you're getting him the ball.
Other main guys who will touch the ball tonight for Statesboro, Timothy Taylor and then Andrew Grace, who already took one handoff. It's so interesting to see a Statesboro team that runs so often going out of the gun. It's just not something longtime Georgia high school football fans are used to, and that one goes nowhere as they went back to Roberson again.
Yeah, that's Jalen Barnum there, and he is perhaps going to be the best player on the field tonight for either team. Well, I mean, first off, his offer list is increasingly growing. He's garnering interest from a couple Power Fives. Doesn't have any P5 offers yet, but you just look at him. He is sort of the ideal modern linebacker. Can play inside, can play outside, off the ball. Not necessarily an edge rusher like in a 3-4, but in a 4-3 can play any position in the linebacker spots. Can rush the passer, good in run defense, and I think he's got pretty good coverage upside down the road.
That's Drew Yon who's walking off the field on his own accord. That's good news, but it looks like something's up with his shoulder. Here comes Statesboro on what looks like third down and call it a long 4.
The
Wayne County defense was certainly really good in this situation last year. Last time we were down here for that region championship game, but Statesboro is a surprising offense this year. On third down, here's Horton looking deep on play action. How often do you see that out of Statesboro? Tipped and caught by Timothy Taylor down at the 25-yard line.
And how about the focus when the ball's popped up into the air to keep his eye on it and reel that one in?
I'll tell you, my heart fluttered a little bit for Drake Horton because I was worried, oh no, is he going to throw picks on the first 2 drives? Great tip drill concentration by Timothy Taylor.
Well, sometimes a little bit better to be lucky than good. I think that one was a case of both. Really impressive focus to pull that ball in, obviously, and, you know, maybe a little bit of help from the tip.
And Timothy Taylor, one of the other standout sophomores in this game. We have a big-time sophomore class on the field tonight. Near side, here comes Roberson, turning upfield, stays in bounds, has a block, and is down inside the 5.
And that's what separates Roberson from the pack. That's what got him the invite to that second camp day at the opening. His ability in the open field, that breakaway speed.
Most high school running backs, when they get this handoff, get 5 and turn out of bounds. He was unafraid. He cut back upfield.
Yeah, and you see him beat the defender to the corner, cut back in, and even just the speed to beat that guy to the corner. A lot of guys might cut it back earlier because they know they're not going to get to the boundary.
All right, folks, if you tuned in and thinking Wayne County had this game already in the bag, you are wrong. Statesboro trying to score on their second drive. There's Grace, and he's into the end zone. Statesboro is on the board first on the road at Wayne County.
That was a really impressive drive from Statesboro. Had a little bit of help, obviously, with that tip ball, but the play calling, the aggressiveness, and then obviously the execution coupled with just some raw ability from guys like Roberson, that was really a cohesive drive for Statesboro.
Man, would you look at this. That kick is up and good for the Blue Devils, and a 7-0 lead on their second drive. I don't think Wayne County's asleep. I think I am surprised that their defense looks a little – is their defense a little caught off guard?
Perhaps, and it seemed like they were able to get pressure up the middle with some consistency. So Statesboro did a really good job of getting guys quickly to the boundary, using some motion, using some misdirection.
All right, we are just getting started on our coverage of high school football tonight on the Friday Night Blitz. Coming up tonight at 11:15 on the Friday Night Blitz highlight show. A couple other really great games out of 6A. I am most interested, though, on the game at the bottom of the screen. Savannah Country Day is off to an undefeated 5-0 start. They keep winning games by 3 or 4 points in MCA, no slouch.
Well, I was going to say Savannah Country Day has been just pulling games out left and right. And you got to wonder how long it can last, but, I mean, so far so good.
All right, here is the return for Wayne County. This is Kalijah Hartzog diving up toward the 30-yard line. Hartzog, another one of those great returning players from last year's undefeated regular season team. And the folks who are now coming in from the tailgates at JC Stadium, you see them walking in through the gates, Jim, looking at the scoreboard going, what happened? What did we miss?
Yeah, well, I mean, again, I just think that the play calling really was impressive on that drive. You knew you weren't going to win between the tackles, so motions and misdirections to keep Wayne County off balance was enough to move the ball efficiently and ultimately get in the end zone.
All right, so in case you're just joining us, Wayne County's first drive ended in an interception. Second drive, they had good field position and couldn't quite get it done. They sweep it here to Khalees Hadley. He's one of the explosive running backs, and he's on his feet toward midfield. Can he take this one all the way? He's surrounded by Blue Devils, still on his feet down toward the 15.
Khalees Hadley.
That low stiff arm
Tackled by number
was nasty.
2.
Look at the lateral adjust. He basically showed off the whole skill set there. Showed a little burst, showed a little vision, showed a little shake and bake.
Head coach of the Yellow Jackets, Ken Cribb, just described him in 2 words: explosive speed. No kidding.
Yeah, absolutely. Showing breakaway speed. And look at how many guys he made miss between the stiff arms and all the jukes. Maybe forced like 4 or 5 missed tackles.
We have a flag on the field. This one is coming back for either. That's a legal procedure on Wayne County, so that one's coming all the way back here. Yeah, I guess if you're Ken Cribb, you're happy it wasn't a hold, but I guess it doesn't feel that much better.
It hurts even worse when you rip off one like that and it's
Right.
coming back. Just brutal.
All right, but if you're a Wayne County fan, all of a sudden you feel a little bit better knowing that not only you have a guy like Kalijah Hartzog on that kick return, Khalees Hadley did that with almost no help.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen the offense have some success, and obviously it's a matter of, letting those plays count, but I don't think you're worried yet.
On first down and 15, Pierce looking deep. He already threw 1 interception. He goes into traffic, and it's ripped off again. 2 picks, that one coming from J.D. Kaiser.
Again, we were talking about focus on the first tip ball. How about the focus there, going to the dirt to pull that one in?
What is happening? This 5A region, if you haven't been following our Thursday Blitz Countdown high school football talk show, we've been saying for weeks that between Wayne County and Ware County, the favorites, improved Statesboro, talented New Hampstead, and red-hot, newly coached South Effingham, that any of these 5 teams could win. Statesboro entering this year was thought to be last among equals. They've got great field position, Jim. They might go up 2 touchdowns here.
It's like the ACC Coastal, except the teams are good.
All right, first play of this new series. They go up the middle to Deverdrian Lipsy, one of their senior running backs, picks up a modest gain. If Statesboro goes up 2 touchdowns at the end of the first quarter, we are going to have so many people in Georgia high school football wondering just what they didn't know entering this game.
Well, and what's been curious is they haven't been super ball control oriented. They're just kind of running their offense. It's not like they're milking the clock too bad or just running between the tackles. They're just running their offense.
And although they don't run the triple option quite like they used to over at Statesboro High School, they certainly are big on ball control and owning the game and momentum. Here's Horton stepping up, eluding pressure. Way to keep the play alive, but then down he goes. Getting to him first on that play was Kincaid, the D tackle, 265 pounds.
Yeah, that's a lot of mass coming at you. What is it? It's force equals mass times acceleration. I think I learned that.
You're asking the wrong guy.
I think I learned that back in the day. Well, in any case, that was a lot of force.
All right, that play takes us down inside the 30-minute mark remaining in the first quarter. And it feels like we are somehow living in bizarro world. This game feels to me, Jim, like it's going to be a handful of big plays, and this thing feels like it's going down. And it looks like Statesboro wants a timeout.
Sure, and between Statesboro's offensive efficacy and then on the flip side, how sloppy Wayne County's look, this has been a surprise.
Other big games coming up tonight on the Friday Night Blitz over on WSAV at 11:15. Look at that second one. You look forward to it every year. Calvary and Savannah Christian. Raiders came out of nowhere last year in Baker Woodward's first season to win. I think a lot of people favor Calvary tonight.
Sure, and perennially one of the most fascinating matchups in the Savannah area. Obviously a great historic rivalry, but with Savannah Christian theoretically seeming like they're down, that should be a Calvary Day win.
Savannah Christian entering this year was thought to be the de facto region champions in single A3, but they lost so many kids to graduation. Omar Burrows, a star DB, transferred down to IMG Academy. And then in week 1 in a game you and I broadcast together against Athens Academy, they lost Nate Moon possibly for the year. So Savannah Christian went from pretty much across the board region favorites to now maybe even finishing third because Country Day is still undefeated.
Sure, and you could have stomached probably a lot of those losses to graduation. That's just something that happens. But losing Nate Moon, the heart and soul of your team, it's hard to come back from that.
All right, big play for Statesboro. 3rd down and 13. They're going to have to go to the air. Horton looking downfield, and flags coming in.
Legal procedure against Statesboro.
As if 3rd down and 13 was not hard enough, Jim.
I've had a few procedure issues here. Not as clean as I would have anticipated for either of these teams.
I'll tell you, this is not the biggest game either of these teams are going to play in the region this year, but knowing what a gauntlet 5A is going to be and that this is on TV, I think this might have to do with nerves. Here we go. 3rd down and 18 for the Blue Devils. Andrell Grace is lining up in the backfield next to Drake Horton. 4 wide receiver look. Looked like Wayne jumped, but no flags. But the defense comes flying in. What a tackle from Barnum, the senior linebacker, on the sack.
Yep, a little bit of a delayed blitz there from Barnum, but once he got going, he got a full head of steam, ran free and clear through the offensive line, and you can see why he's into the double-digit offers.
He came flying in like a wrecking ball. Jim, looking at his offers, what stands out as a possible good fit for him?
Sure. Well, if you look at his current offer list, there are a couple Sunbelt schools, Coastal Carolina namely. He does have an offer from Purdue right now, Navy, but I tell you what, that he has been hearing from Tennessee, from Auburn, from Kentucky. I would not be surprised if he ended up in the SEC.
Not bad. All right, here's Trey Chansey on the return. He stays on his feet and breaks toward the near side. He's got a jailbreak up to the 40. Down the sideline. Trey Chansey has it back to a 1-point game for Wayne County.
Well, Trey Chansey's just a super dynamic athlete. They've got a couple of these guys on Wayne County where they're not the biggest players, but boy, can they fly.
5'8", 150, so he's light on his feet. He's hard to tackle. He's not very big, and he took this one back darn near 85 yards.
How about the balance there? I mean, he was wrapped up pretty good, had a guy at his ankles, and just stayed on his feet. Once he got loose, nobody was catching him.
And I would say he wasn't in the open field until he got to the other 45.
No, not at all. I mean, that was a really impressive true run. It wasn't like there was just a big hole that he hit and was gone. He had to break some tackles, get loose, and make a good cut.
Wayne County 7.
All right, this is a dizzying first quarter here on Big WSAV, by the way. So glad you are choosing to watch high school football with us tonight, starting a 5A Region 2 play. We said this is a region at the beginning of this broadcast that any of the 5 teams could win, but even though that is true, Jim, there seemed to be a general sense when we announced that we were broadcasting this game. A lot of people asked me, frankly, do you think Statesboro has a chance? I said, heck yeah, they do. This seems like a game that might go down to the 4th quarter, and based on the way this game looks so far, that kind of seems the way we're headed.
Oh, this thing absolutely feels like, at least right now, like it's going to be decided by a score. And while the execution has not been perfect, you can clearly see the talent on display.
All right, folks, kickoffs tonight on the Friday Night Blitz, brought to you by the law firm of Farah and Farah.
Number 1, Will Yawn, and number 29.
And Will Yawn back to receive for the Blue Devils.
Never done Blipsy.
And Kane, the junior kicker, to do the honors. High and short. Flags and whistles.
We have a penalty flag on the field.
And I'll tell you, Jim, this is just part of the downside of when you go all in on a big-time group of seniors. Last year's Wayne County team was so good. but they were so senior heavy. This is just part of the fact that you have a bunch of kids who are in the middle of their first year starting as varsity guys.
Sure, and I mean, that's kind of the cost of doing business. Yeah, Ken Cribb's team, you would maybe expect to be a little cleaner here early, but you mentioned the nerves for obvious reasons, and I think we're just seeing a little bit of that.
All right, this kick from Kane now back from the 35. Puts a little bit more of a boot into this one. And here comes the return for Statesboro. This is Lipsy.
29
Dodging forward for a gain of maybe 10 yards on the play. And we'll see the Statesboro offense again. So they marched down the field pretty good one time and punched it in for a touchdown. Their defense has 2 interceptions. They've thrown 1 interception. So the Blue Devils, although they have this game tied, it kind of looks a little bit all over the place.
It seemed like on that last drive, they got a little bit away from what they had success with on their scoring possession. I'd like to see them go back to using some of that motion and misdirection to get guys on the perimeter and not so much trying to beat up on these big Wayne County defenders inside the tackles.
All right, pretty good field position just past the 30-yard line. Will Yon, the man in motion, and he'll get the pitch behind 2 blockers, but it doesn't matter. Jones got by a couple of defenders to take down the running back.
That's just good old-fashioned assignment football. Did a great job of staying on his block and then dismissing the defender to wrap that guy up, and it made a good open field tackle.
2nd and 16.
And you expect more out of the blocking from Statesboro running backs and wide receivers.
Yeah, you just to let the corner there kind of hang on to you, hold you right where he wants you, and then slide you off when the time came. I mean, that was textbook.
Loss of 6 on the play, so 2nd and 16. Inside a minute to go in the quarter. Good snap. Horton's going to get rid of it fast, and
pass is incomplete.
Pass was intended for James Flagg, but he had a corner and a safety in the neighborhood as well.
I don't know if Statesboro is disinclined to simply run as ball control offenses they usually do, or if it's just a product of some of these second and long obvious passing down situations. But they're going to be a lot better off if they can do a better job staying on schedule on early downs to keep out of these uncomfortable, obvious passing scenarios.
Flag lined up at the bottom of your screen. 3rd and 16. And it's a jailbreak. Down goes Horton. Defense comes flying in for Wayne County. It looked like Barnum was once again the first one to get there, and you can see why colleges are so high on him, Jim.
Sure, yeah, Barnum is an elite talent, but it seemed like there was a sea of black around him that time. I mean, just a total collapse from the offensive line. And, give Wayne County some credit. We've seen them get penetration up the gut early a couple of times. The blocking just has to be a little bit better.
Down inside 10 seconds. We might have to wait until the second quarter to get this punt away for the Blue Devils. And it looks like we will. Okay, we thought this was going to be a close, low-scoring game. And as we are done with 1 quarter already, I would say we have it pretty on point. Blue Devils 7, Yellow Jackets 7 at the end of 1 on the Friday Night Blitz game of the week. The second quarter of the Friday Night Blitz is brought to you by your Savannah and Low Country Honda dealers. Visit your local Savannah and Low Country Honda dealer today to check out Honda's award-winning lineup of SUVs. Back here on the Friday Night Blitz game of the week to begin the second quarter from Jessup at Statesboro and Wayne County. That kick is away. Wayne County will receive back at the 35-yard line. Okay, so in case you're just joining us, yes, obviously this is not Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. It's the Friday Night Blitz on Big WSAV. So glad to have you with us. I'm Greg Talbot alongside SouthernPigskin.com's Jim Johnson. And Jim, this is the opening game of Region 5A play for these teams. We said we thought this would be a low-scoring, close game. That's exactly what we got in the first quarter.
Oh, yeah, and it's been a combination of, yes, some good defense, but also some self-inflicted wounds by both of these offenses. You'd like to see it maybe get a little cleaner as the nerves start to settle in.
So Wayne County back on offense, and they've got to be careful. Their one touchdown came on a kick return rather. As they feed up the middle to Antoine McBride. He's got a jailbreak to the opposing 40. Big run for him and a first down. But like you said, Wayne County's got to be careful. They threw 2 interceptions in the first quarter.
Yeah, it's just kind of atypical of what you expect out of a Ken Cribbs coach team. You expect the execution to be of the highest level. And right now, just a couple bad decisions. I've seen them turn the ball over and give Statesboro the opportunity to be in this ballgame.
An awfully good field position now for Wayne County. By the way, that's Trey Pierce, the first-year starting quarterback. They put last year's quarterback, Shamar Taylor, in motion to block for Khalees Hadley.
15 on the carry,
Picks up maybe a gain of 2 yards on the play, bringing up a moderate down here.
11.
Okay, so if you're Wayne County, you know you have electric players, as you always do in a Ken Cribb offense, but you've already thrown 2 interceptions, so how does that change the game plan?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, it seemed like there was a pretty concerted effort to get those skill players involved early in simpler ways, some little screen passes, some jet sweeps, and right now I'd feel a lot more comfortable doing that than trying to throw the ball downfield and challenge this young quarterback to beat this talented secondary.
Second down and a long 8. They feed to Khalees Hadley.
15.
Thought I might have seen a face mask. He's calling for one.
Carry for the Yellow Jackets.
Referees are not going to throw the whistle. He came up a couple yards short, bringing up a crucial 3rd down. And if you're Ken Cribb in Wayne County, you wonder at what point you start to be worried about putting this ball in the air.
Yeah, and right now the run game has been, you know, you've seen a couple chunk plays here and there. If I'm Wayne County with that offensive line, especially given some of the early mistakes from this young quarterback, I'm content to just run the ball and trust those big uglies and my talented ball carriers.
3rd and 4. Here's Pierce, what looks like a QB keeper, but he's going to be out of space as he keeps it and turns upfield. He might not be out of space. Trey Pierce, you got to be kidding me, down inside the 20 for a miracle first down.
And I give Pierce some credit. He may have thrown a couple picks, but we saw him run the ball pretty well earlier. I think on the first play from scrimmage for Wayne County, and then how about that? He was just like a magician on that one.
Well, look at the block from Khalees Hadley, the running back throwing blocks against the Blue Devil linebackers. Love to see that. Well, when we asked Ken Cribb why he changed up Shamar Taylor and put Trey Pierce as QB, he said, although he's young, Trey is a triple threat quarterback. He can pass, he can run, and he usually does not turn it over. Here's McBride turning upfield down toward the 10.
And this drive, I think you've finally seen it all start to click in place a little bit. They have such a wealth of talent in the skill positions. And then obviously we saw Trey Pierce's rushing ability there. You know, on the last play, these guys just, I think they're going to be able to run the ball down Statesboro's throat for most of the night, at least based on what we've seen so far. I would still be hesitant to test out the young quarterback's arm too terribly much.
On 2nd down, run pass option, they'll feed Hadley. And the defense did by a really good assignment defense there in Brendan Jackson to deliver the blow.
Yeah, Brendan Jackson has an offer from Stetson as well as Savannah State. 6 foot, about 186 safety there. Pretty much the ideal for the position.
And I'll tell you what, even though Savannah State is now in Division II, based on the really good start they're having and such an electric young coach in Sean Quinn, all of a sudden having an offer to Savannah State, now, even though they're D2, seems like a cooler thing than it used to in recent years.
I was going to say, it's almost a better program because they're more suited to that level.
Yeah, I agree. 3rd down over the middle. That pass falls incomplete.
That's intended for number 13, Terrell Wright.
It was just behind him.
And it looks like Pierce is maybe just a little bit off kilter. And again, you know, we talked about the nerves. Being on television in front of a bunch of people. Obviously, this is a big region game, your region opener. You just want to see him calm down a little. And in the meantime, you got to stick to your guns. You got to stick to the run game with all those talented skill players.
Well, this is 4th down. The referees are calling this 6 yards to go, and Ken Cribb, being the maverick he is, he's going to keep his offense on the field and go for it on 4th down. The sophomore quarterback out of the gun. McBride there to block for him. Going for the end zone. That one batted away. He went back to
Pass
right.
intended
Actually,
for
Jim,
number
I think he
13
might have had his
Terrell
hands on
Wright
that
was
one.
I was
incomplete.
going to say, I thought he
Statesboro
should
take
have
over on
probably
downs
brought
at
that
the
one in.
14-yard line, 1st and 10.
We'll take a look at the replay brought to you by your Savannah and Low Country Honda dealers, but that brings an end to the drive as they turn it over. Really great last-second defense. That one was batted away.
Yeah, that was impressive. And give Pierce credit there. He did a good job looking off the defenders. It looked like they were going left the whole time. Pulled it back to his right and tried to find his guy in the back of the end zone. But, man, I mean, that was just an incredible play by the defensive back.
All right, so it will stay 7-7 after the turnover, and Statesboro has to take over inside their own 15. Horton out of the gun, hands off to Roberson. Goes right into the teeth of that secondary along the outside and takes it up to the 22-yard line. Turns that into a gain of 7 or 8 yards.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm calling plays for Statesboro, I'm just feeding Roberson, and you're not going to win every snap against this defense, obviously, but you're going to win enough, and he's going to allow you to have some success that, just quite frankly, a lot of other running backs aren't going to have.
Middle of your screen there, there's Jeff Kaiser in his 3rd year as Statesboro head coach. Came over in 2017. I don't know what that accent was. On 2nd down, Roberson takes the give and goes the other way. Stays on his feet, turns upfield, and he's going to pick up the 1st down in the process before he's brought down by a couple of the linebackers.
And that's what's been working so far. Those motions, a little counter there, just a little bit of misdirection because you're just not going to be able to run the ball between the tackles too terribly often against this Wayne County defense. But if you can get to the boundary, especially with Roberson, he can make something out of nothing like he did right there.
And I love that Barnum didn't give up on that play, the linebacker for Wayne County. He was the first one who got a hand on him but didn't bring him down. He eventually chased him down from behind.
Yeah, Barnum's got no quit in him. That guy plays like he's a 10-year NFL vet.
All right, here's Horton looking to throw downfield. And there's a jailbreak defense into the backfield, and it's Williams who got to him first.
Greg Horton tackle for a loss by number 2.
He was looking downfield and had nobody open.
And it seems abundantly clear, based on what we've seen so far, that Statesboro wants to push the ball downfield. They just haven't had time to.
Back at the 20-yard line.
And a huge loss on the play. I feel compelled to call that one almost 15 yards. Not only did he roll back, he also rolled down. 2nd down and 20 is going to be the ruling here, as this one will take us toward the 6.5-minute mark. We've already seen 3 interceptions in this game. You'd understand if the coaches are not excited about the possibility of putting it in the air more. This is Grace on the ground, and he doesn't go very far.
Sure, and if you're Statesboro right now, you don't want to turn the ball over. It's 2nd and 20. I'm not trying to move the chains so much here. Get the ball to one of your playmakers, yes. Maybe try to get him in space. Sure, if he can make a play, fantastic. But if I can take a 7-7 ball game into the half here, play a little ball control, milk the clock, and get one stop, I'm perfectly content to do that.
3rd down and 17 after the short game. Horton's already thrown an interception and has thrown behind his receivers a couple of times too. So what does the senior quarterback have in him? 5 wide, linebacker blitz over the middle. That one is hauled in by a flag. Not nearly far enough. He's only up to the 32.
No, and that's fine. Again, I thought it was a little bit dangerous there. If you're not going to go for the big play, go for the sticks. But I guess that was a safe enough throw. He put a little extra mustard on that one to get it in there. But yeah, punt it away here. If you can get one stop and go into halftime tied up, I'm happy if I'm Statesboro.
The 32-yard line.
Well, wasn't that exactly their number one idea in the Ford Keys to the Game, brought to you by our local Ford dealers in the pregame show? It was keep it close and keep the Wayne County offense from staying on the field too long. Really great Statesboro kick. This one's going to put him just past the 10-yard line, so if Wayne County wants to score before the end of the half, they're going to have to go almost 90 yards. We'll see if they can after the break.
Yeah, there's a clear talent disparity. It's the talent.
This segment of the Friday Night Blitz on WSAV is brought to you by your Savannah and Low Country Honda dealers. Test drive the Honda of your dreams at your local Savannah and Low Country Honda dealer today. Well, we said this would be a low-scoring, close game, and as we get ready to approach halftime here in the second quarter, inside 5 minutes until we get there, we might very well be headed into the break with a tie game at 7-7. Here comes Wayne County back on offense as they feed Antoine McBride, the senior running
carry. Antoine McBride
picks up a couple of yards on the play, down inside 5 minutes.
11.
But Jim, this is exactly what Statesboro wanted. Long punt, and if Wayne County wants to lead headed into halftime, make them earn it.
Oh, absolutely. After you take that huge loss on first down, you couldn't have asked for the next 3 plays to go any better. No, you didn't get a first down, but basically pinning Wayne County back close to their own end zone from the opposite side of the field, force them to go 90 yards to score and take a lead into halftime. You are right where you want to be in this ballgame.
2nd down and 7. Pierce ends off to Khalees Hadley, and the Statesboro defense there to gobble him up in the backfield.
And that's one thing they've done a good job of tonight. Statesboro has, the first guy didn't bring him down, but there were a number of other guys right there around him. They're flying to the ball and gang tackling, which is what you have to do against an offense with this many high-caliber skill players.
This was Jack Thompson who got to him first. Bringing up 3rd down and 7, and in case you're just joining us, this sophomore quarterback for the Yellow Jackets, Trey Pierce, has already thrown 2 interceptions. This is a screen play. He's got to get rid of it, though. Luckily, that's not intercepted. It's caught by Shamar Taylor. He stays on his feet. I don't think he got quite to the chains, but he got close.
He put him in a pretty decent position there, but that just as easily could have been an interception that Statesboro absolutely would have taken advantage of.
I'm a little surprised that wasn't picked, actually.
I am too. That was a very dangerous ball, and after throwing 2 picks, you think he might be a little more gun-shy.
And the refs are saying he picked up that first down by about a yard as he fell forward. Very smart by Shamar Taylor. And that'll give them a new 1st down and 10 as we wind down toward the 3-minute mark. They've got a long way to go if they want to head into halftime up a touchdown. Pierce sends Shamar Taylor in motion. 2 linebackers coming off the outside. Here's Hadley, dives through those linebackers, and would have had a jailbreak if it wasn't for Ames Radcliffe. That's his 4th tackle of the first half, in addition to his interception. He's been everywhere.
Yeah, brought him down by his shoelaces on that one, and that could have saved a potentially monster game. We've seen how explosive Hadley can be. That was a big play for that defense as they try to take this game into the half at 7-7.
So that's Antoine McBride lining up next to Pierce as the running back. In case you're just joining us, no, 24 last year was their main running back, MJ Fuller. He is on to college football. He's no longer here. Pierce looking downfield. Ken Cribb likes how this kid can run, and you can see why there. But it takes a big hit in the process as he gets to the 35, but it looks like he picked up another 1st down.
How about a little spin move? Channeling some young Michael Vick.
Yeah, but you can't go in blind when you have a Statesboro linebacker coming at your head.
No, you cannot. He got popped there, but this kid has shown some pretty good elusiveness. He's made a couple plays out of nothing tonight.
Yeah, you can see why Ken Cribb is high on him for the future too, right?
Sure. Some of the decision-making in the passing game's been a little sketchy, but, man, he has made some plays with his legs.
Up to the 35, new 1st down. Statesboro defense gets to him, but he stays on his feet. He's up past the 45-yard line, or 2 at least. Picks up about 9 yards on the play, maybe 2nd down and short. And that's going to wind us down inside a minute 30 after we get the chain started on this next play.
Yeah, other than he got popped there on a couple of plays ago, but his running style a little bit herky-jerky, kind of hard to get a clean look at him. Maybe a little bit reminiscent of like Johnny Manziel, maybe.
Who are televising the game tonight. So let's give him a big Wayne County welcome.
All right, fans, well, Fridays are for high school football, but Saturdays are for college, and WSAV is proud to take you inside the huddle on the best college football team in America. Watch Inside Clemson Football with Dabo Sweeney every Sunday night on WSAV. Get insights from the head coach and behind-the-scenes access to Tiger Athletics. Inside Clemson football with Dabo Sweeney, Sunday late nights at 12:30 a.m. on WSAV. Or check your local listings. But I watch it every Sunday at 12:30 a.m. So hopefully you stay up with me and watch that. Jim, you're laughing at me. Do you not stay up till 12:30 a.m. on Sunday nights? Do you have a healthy sleep schedule?
No, I don't. Not during college football season. I'm up till about 4 a.m. most Sunday mornings. But no, I'm usually watching Pac-12 after dark.
So what you're saying is you're living the lifestyle of local sports anchors and bartenders.
Something like that.
All right, so about 1:30 to go here until halftime. Wayne County started this own drive on their own 12-yard line, so they've made pretty good field position. Pierce tucks and runs again. He's been great at that this drive. He takes it inside the Statesboro 40 and the 30. One man to beat. Pierce is in, and Wayne County takes the lead.
56-yard carry by Trey Pierce for a second touchdown.
Okay, so if you've been wondering what is Ken Cribbs seeing this kid, question answered.
Yeah, I think we just saw it, Greg. That was incredible. See, that was what I'm talking about. It's so hard to get a clean look at him, even much less bring him down. Look at this little drop step. I thought he was down right there too, but man,
wow,
it's a little hezzy.
That kick nearly blocked. And I don't know about you, Jim. We have another half of football to go, but I would be floored if that is not tonight's top play brought to you by Farah and Farah.
That's going to be hard to beat.
And don't forget, the other Wayne County touchdown was a kick return. So just like last year, they are always awfully good with their fast guys in space.
Yeah,
if you give them even a little space, they're going to kill you.
Sure, and they can be explosive. But on the flip side, if I'm Statesboro and going into half, that's not a backbreaker. If obviously, like if you can get a score here, fantastic. Even if you don't, I'm going in the locker room and telling my guys, 2 big plays. 2 big plays. You cut those off, we're winning this ballgame. 2 big plays. Statesboro's in this game still.
Oh, no question about it. Although, absolute backbreaker if you're the Blue Devils, because you had that ball up 7-0 in Wayne County territory before you threw that interception. If you were the Blue Devils, you could potentially be up 14-0 right now the other way.
Yeah, that hurts. And it is interesting, you know, the two sides of the young quarterback coin. Just as easily early in that drive, we could have seen a pick on that screen pass.
Back inside their own 15.
Instead, it's 6 on the other end.
Kickoff's brought to you by the law firm of Farah and Farah. Statesboro's not going to have a whole lot of time here. That ball Farah caught just inside the 35 with 1:23 to go. All right, Jim, so Wayne County got that ball back with about 3.5 minutes left, and we said, they might not have enough time to get downfield, but under the watchful eye of the sophomore quarterback, Trey Pierce, it didn't even take him half of that.
Yeah, it turns out they only needed a few seconds on that play, but if you're Statesboro here, I'm going. I mean, I know they haven't been able to push the ball downfield the way they've wanted because the protection hasn't been there, but you're not supposed to win this game. Nobody thinks you're going to win this game, or at least you're not projected to. I'm trying to score right here and prove that I can play with this team.
They're going to try with Jalen Roberson. Tries to get out of bounds and stop the clock, although I'm not sure he actually quite got there. He went down just on the side, and it looks like they're going to say he did not pick up the first down, although he might have gotten out of bounds. We'll see. Clock is stopped. They're going to give him the first down by about an inch, and they'll temporarily stop the clock. Roberson has been the guy who's kept him in this game, if you ask me. Well,
I like that. I mean, you want to get your playmakers the ball in these situations. It reminds me of something Nick Saban said before. It's not about plays, it's about players. Roberson's your best playmaker. Get him the rock.
New first down. They're going to feed him. Tries to get to the near side. Great last-second tackle along the outside by one of the DBs. On the tackle that time, that was Jones.
Maybe a little bit of an adjustment there by the Wayne County defense. They've been getting beat on some misdirection early, stayed home there and made the play.
All right, this is going to take us down inside 30 seconds, so either the last or second to last play of the first half. Horton probably is going to go to the air on 2nd down and 8, and he will. Going into coverage, over the top for flag. He hauled it in, but did he get it in bounds? It looks like he did, although the Wayne County fans aren't happy about it.
No, and I think he was just running free there. The cornerback got beat. There wasn't much safety help over the top.
I was worried for him that ball wasn't going to be out of bounds. I thought he overshot him.
He laid that one in there pretty good. It looked like he got into me.
He did.
That's really good touch on that pass from the quarterback, and you know he too has had some struggles early on. But
can you imagine
that's a nice ball.
Can you imagine if we see 2 touchdowns in the final 3 minutes of this half?
After 15 minutes of
deep again into coverage. He was shooting for Brinson, and that one falls incomplete. All right, Statesboro opened up the playbook, and I hate to take collateral damage here and sideswipe the big boys in the process. Last couple of games for Georgia Southern in Statesboro, I would have liked to see him open up the playbook like this too.
Sure, yeah, maybe they could take a page from this sort of play calling.
Don't want to hit him with extra shrapnel, but I like the Statesboro High School attack. 2nd and 10. Horton looking downfield, pressure, goes to the near side. Into double coverage, pass was intended for Lipsy. Didn't have enough protection from his offensive line to let him unload it.
Yeah, we've seen him underthrow a couple balls tonight, but again, that is in part due to the protection. Wayne County's done a great job getting pressure all night long, and no quarterback is that good when there's got hands in their face.
All right, 3rd down and 10. This will likely be the final play of the half, but we are going to take
Timeout, Statesboro.
timeout.
As soon as halftime gets here,
With 6 seconds to go here in the first half. Hey fans, speaking of Georgia Southern, I know you love Eagle football, so you got to watch WSAV on Sunday night for Blue White Weekly. Go inside Georgia Southern Athletics to recap the week in Georgia Southern sports and meet the newest Statesboro stars. Blue White Weekly, another late Sunday night one, Sunday at midnight, or check your local listings. So Jim, now that we know you stay up until 4 in the morning, get your fix of Clemson football and Georgia Southern.
Oh, absolutely. Back to back. Got to be good. Would like to. Can we go back a year and do that? You know, when they played?
Ouch.
No, I mean, come on.
Oh, you mean when they played each other?
Yeah, when they played each other. Then you get a full hour's worth.
I thought you were taking on side swipes of Georgia Southern.
No, I mean, well, maybe we want to go back a year for that one, too.
All right, back here for the high school, though, Statesboro has showed some explosive play possibility in the first half. Thrown it deep the last 3 plays in a row. And we'll see what Jeff Kaiser has drawn up here for Drake Horton with 6 seconds to go in the first half. This will likely be the final play. Probably prevent defense out of Ken Cribb. 4 down linemen, here they come. To the middle of the field in coverage. That one's intercepted. It's Trey Chansey. He ran back a kick return earlier. Can he run back an interception? To the 20. Trey Chansey, you gotta be kidding me. Not to the end zone, that'll end the first half. But what a wild first half of high school football, Jim.
Now that one could have been the backbreaker if he gets in for 6 there.
This has certainly been the most explosive Friday Night Blitz game of the week we have seen on WSAV this year. There is a flag on the play, so we're not gonna go to break quite yet. Trey Chansey. Big Play Trey, new nickname.
Yeah, there you go. That was clever.
Thank you.
Right.
It did. That's why I said it, Jim.
Okay, let's go ahead with our winners.
That's declined, and that'll take us toward halftime. Statesboro coaches slamming the door in the press box next to us. They are not happy with the end of that half. Wayne County's got to be happy, though. Up 14-7. Halftime show is next on the Friday Night Blitz. You seem amused with me.
Welcome back to the WSAV CW Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week halftime show.
Well, this was a wild first half of high school football tonight on Big WSAV. Opening 5A Region 2 play in Wayne County up 14-7 at halftime. That was the big play that put them in front inside a minute and a half to go, and the Wayne County fans have to be pretty happy here at halftime. Back upstairs in the press box alongside Jim Johnson from SouthernPigskin.com and the Explosive Recruiting Radio Show. I'm WSAV Sports Director Greg Talbot, and if you don't know anything about Wayne County high school football on Jessup, one, they've been awfully good the last couple of years because of Ken Cribb and the way he's rejuvenated this team, but also their fans really love this team. Yes, they do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we've seen it tonight. The fans have been into it. I love this shot of the guy when he thought the pass was caught out of bounds. They're just into it. It's great. It's small-town high school football.
Yeah, great tailgates outside going on all day, too. So for this week's Blitz Inside Access, learning a little bit more about these super fans down in Jessup.
Friday night in Jessup, Georgia, Wayne County, Georgia, is awesome because it's all about the high school experience, the varsity football. You know, the whole town comes out.
Friday nights in Wayne County it's electric. It's something that you can't explain. It's I'm getting goosebumps right now. It's the last small town America football.
There's not really a feeling. I mean, you have a whole town behind you. You get them butterflies. It's crazy.
Oh man, it's great. The adrenaline's rushing. You hear the crowd. It's just loud out there. It's just fun, man. It's good. It's good.
That Friday of the game, we start tailgating about 5 o'clock. We've started the tradition of what we call the Wayne train, basically, and that's to welcome our boys when they come off the bus and come onto the field. It's just, it's hard to explain. If there was anything that you could relate it to, it's almost like a college atmosphere. We had one fan come from another town last year and just scratched his head and he thought he was at the Georgia game. And of course, we love our Yellow Jackets. So the electric atmosphere is all for those boys. When they get off that bus and they start walking down that line of fans, the band, the cheerleaders, they go to the field and then they have what we call the walk. And Coach Cribb brought that here, and he brought that to Wayne County. It's something else. And I don't know if you've heard the song "The Boys That Fall," but all us old guys go out there and watch them because there's a lot of truth to that song. You know, we played, we had the blood, sweat, and tears on that same field. That's our home turf, and these kids are carrying on the tradition. But everybody in Wayne County comes together. It's a family, and we've come to go to the stands and make it as hostile environment for the other team as we possibly can to root on our boys. So I mean, it's if I had to explain it in any way, shape, or form, it's welcome to small town America. We got our boys back, and we're going to be loud, and we're going to be in your face.
And we know they're going to be awfully loud the rest of the game, up 14-7 at halftime here against the Statesboro Blue Devils. We'll take a second to listen to the band of the week, the Yellow Jacket Band here at Jessup. We'll come back with more of the halftime show in just a minute on the Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week on WSAV.
Welcome back. Now, more of the WSAV CW Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week halftime show.
All right, we are back live tonight on WSAV on the Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week. Wayne County on top of Statesboro 14-7 at halftime, alongside Jim Johnson from SouthernPigskin.com. I'm WSAV Sports Director Greg Talbot. And Jim, outside of this game tonight, this was a huge week in Georgia high school football, especially in Savannah, when the GHSA denied Islands High School's appeals on a couple of violations on Tuesday. Before we get to our Thursday Blitz Countdown panel, I want to hear your thoughts.
My only thing is there needs to be more clarity. I have no problem with enforcing the rules, but there's too much gray area in my opinion right now. There has to be clearly defined rules in which you can enforce.
Our high school football talk show, the Thursday Blitz Countdown, did a nice extended segment on this on yesterday's show. Here's a primer for what you might have missed. There's a lot to unpack from Tuesday's GHSA hearing where they denied Islands High School's appeal, but let's start with the facts. The Islands football team was found in violation of multiple rules regarding recruiting, undue influence, and student-athlete eligibility. We can't tell you the names of the kids, but we can tell you this is all about 3 student-athletes on the football team who transferred in the offseason. The violations with 2 of them are regarding potential conflict of interest because an assistant coach at their old school appeared to have transferred to Islands with them in the same general time period. The other is regarding a player who transferred in from out of state, and there are still some questions regarding his in-state eligibility. At the hearing, Coach Rob Zoller presented an email he received from the GHSA before the season started, saying that it shouldn't be a problem. But the GHSA has now decided that that doesn't matter now. So Islands is going to face a fine of more than $3,500, but more importantly, they're going to forfeit 4 of their 5 wins in which those ineligible student athletes played. Metter, Southeast Bullock, Calvary, and Beach. So their record now goes from 5-1 to 1-5. There's a lot of information that has not publicly been released yet because they are not yet talking to the media. So guys, I'm going to open up the floor. Connor, your takeaways.
First off, I hate it for the kids because I don't think they specifically had malicious intent or even saw this playing out the way they did. They just wanted, in my eyes, to play with their friends and play with guys they were comfortable with. And so it's not on the kids to look through the litany of rules under undue influence and eligibility to say, oh, you know, I was at a camp with this guy, or I was, you know, playing on an all-star team and this coach was in my presence. It's not on them. You know, it's on the administration to make sure these rules are followed. I will say, looking through these rules and looking through the wording of a lot of these rules with what we know, there's a lot of gray area. And so when it came down to it, the GHSA believed they made the right decision in the beginning, and the people that this hurts most are those 3 players who lose eligibility and potentially lose some time next year as well. The fine, the $3,000 in the grand scheme of things, I don't think that's a drop in the bucket. What we're really talking about is kids who thought they were coming into a good situation that now have to pay the price because I believe there are people in higher up positions that were in charge of looking through these rules, and it just didn't work out.
And Calvin, that's where I want to turn to you because you have been on social media about this, the biggest advocate for the kids. I mean, this is hurting the kids.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is you take 365 days from the time that they have been found ineligible, and that puts them 5 games into next year, you know, as far as these kids being ineligible. That means no film, no anything. And these kids had nothing to do with paperwork of anything as far as being eligible. I think it's the biggest travesty that I've seen in a long time. It's about like the NCAA and what they were doing at one point, but then some of these coaches left and they say, well, you have immediately, you can transfer somewhere immediately. I just think that they need to go back and revamp some of their rules because sometimes we get to an age to where we don't understand kids and we don't care about these kids. And I think with what happened, you know, this week, it feels really like they don't care about these kids.
Not only does it seem like they might not care about the individual 3 kids, when it comes to their teammates, PJ, they just tanked the Islands high school season.
Yeah, you're taking wins away that, let's face it, they went on the football field, they won those games, period. We know it, everybody else knows it, and you're hurting the football team, you're hurting those kids who are now ineligible or whatever. And, you know, at the end of the day, like you said, eliminate the gray areas. Let's figure this out. And not only the gray areas, but I don't know, it kind of, what takes me back is I'm a man of my word. I'm a very moral person, things of that nature. If I say something, I'm going to stick to my word. just as a person. That email, when I heard about it, meant a lot to me. I thought, okay, this appeal could go through. And then to hear that had, that was just totally brushed aside and left on the side of the table, and no, we're just going to hold these up anyway, that was big to me.
All right, that is a segment from this week's edition of the Thursday Blitz Countdown, and get the inside scoop on local high school football all season on the Countdown. Every Thursday at 6:30 on the CW, we bring together the best high school football experts in the area to break down the big stories, showcase the top performers, and tell you all about the best games to watch this weekend. The Thursday Blitz Countdown, Thursdays at 6:30 on WSAV CW, presented by your Savannah and Low Country Honda dealers. If you want to see the rest of that segment, it is online on the sports page right now of WSAV.com. Speaking of which, WSAV and Ford are teaming up to highlight the fans. We're out in full force every Friday night taking pictures. Check out the Built Ford Tough Fans photo gallery every week and see if you've been spotted by our Blitz cameras. Visit WSAV.com/Built Ford Tough Fans, and remember, America's strongest trucks are always Built Ford Tough. Almost time to begin the second half in Jessup. Wayne County on top of Statesboro, 14-7. One more commercial break, and then we're back with the second half.
Thank you for watching
next.
the WSAV CW Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week halftime show. Stick around. The second half is coming right up.
From JC Stadium in Jessup, the Friday Night Blitz on WSAV is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Ford, go further. 14-7 at the break. Jim, you and I were talking about this off the air. Really, the score of this game should be more like 21-14, right?
Yeah, probably, and there's just been a couple of mistakes. I mean, you could argue 14-14 if rather than having that little screen pass be caught in there, it was picked off. By the same token, I mean, if the pick six there at the end actually is a pick six, who knows? This game has been all over the place. It's been a little chaotic. Not the cleanest game, but certainly exciting.
All right, so let's take a look at some of your first half highlights in this game. We knew it was going to be low scoring because these teams have a bunch of great players on defense, and they're both a little bit sloppy on offense. But, man, we saw a couple of really early interceptions, including the first Statesboro play on offense.
Yeah, 3 interceptions early, and on that one, just not really a great decision. Really, all of them kind of bad decisions. We did see one great play.
But Shamar Taylor looking really good for Wayne County. He was their quarterback last year. He's taken on more of a receiving role this year, and he's made a couple of big plays. But then, when they got in good field position, the first of 2 Statesboro interceptions.
Sure, and you'll love what the young quarterback has done with his legs in the ground game, but the bad decisions through the air have cost them points.
And then, speak of the devil, nearly intercepted, but one of the great plays in that first half.
Yeah, absolutely. You just love the focus there to bring that ball in.
And then Jalen Roberson, we gush about his speed, and look at that great run to take it down inside the 5, and then they punched it in.
Yeah, there are some things you just can't teach. Roberson's athleticism is one of them, and on that drive, they really displayed very good play calling.
And if you thought Roberson was the only explosive player, hate to break it to you, Khalees Hadley's a monster for Wayne County, too.
Oh, yeah, I mean, between all of Wayne County's skill players, there is so much talent on the perimeter and in the backfield. Those guys are a handful in the open field.
The sophomore quarterback, Trey Pierce, was all over the place in the first half. That was his second interception, but he would eventually make up for it later on. Meanwhile, here's Wayne County. Trey Chansey from the 15 should have been wrapped up 4 times. 85 yards.
Yeah, you look at him just turn on a dime there. Broke a couple tackles early. He could have been brought down at basically right where he caught it, but that speed and that agility is just natural.
But then the Wayne County defense really started to step up.
Yeah, you saw them get a lot of penetration through the middle and throughout the first half.
Statesboro defense also looked awfully good, especially from the linebacker spot in the D-line. But then Khalees Hadley tried to turn it upfield and was stopped on a big 3rd down. But then Wayne County nearly had another touchdown.
Another
tipped away
ball
at the
that-
last minute.
Sure, another ball that just as easily could have been intercepted. Almost was a touchdown, turned out to be nothing.
So this is a physical fight, 7-7 at this point, midway through the second quarter. Quarterbacks both made a couple big plays, but they both made a couple of mistakes. But eventually, late in the second quarter, Trey Pierce, big drive for Wayne County.
Yeah, and you've seen Pierce a couple of times just call his own number when nothing's going on downfield, and he has made a few unbelievable plays with his legs.
Including this one.
Yeah, this is the play of the game so far. Look at this move, little step back, and gets in for 6. This kid is tough to bring down in the open field.
All right, so it is 14-7 at halftime. This is kind of what we expected. Actually, if you had told me that Wayne County would be winning a one-score game at halftime and it was low scoring, this is pretty much what we expected, right?
I think from the scoreboard perspective, this is what we expected. From the way it's unfolded, this is not what I was looking for.
And I'll tell you, we had the weirdest game in WSAV Blitz history a couple weeks ago. That Liberty County Richmond Hill game, in case you weren't with us, weirdest high school football game we've ever broadcast on this TV station. But this one is kind of like we thought. It is defensive, it is hard fought, and it is big plays only making the difference.
Yeah, and I think that's something that you could see become a deciding factor in the second half is the team that can establish some consistency as opposed to having to rely on these big plays.
All right, the second half is just 3 minutes away here on WSAV. We'll come back in just a second for the second half.
This week on WSAV, the Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week takes over NBC beginning at 7:30. That means Dateline and The Blacklist will air at special times. Dateline will air Friday overnight at 2:05 a.m. The Blacklist will air Saturday overnight at 1:05 a.m. after Saturday Night Live. Or watch either show online. You can find out how by visiting WSAV.com/NBC Friday.
When you think about the homeless, what usually comes to mind are men in food lines or on park benches. But here in our backyard, some are single males, but more are families with children. I'm Ken Rabishaw with the United Way of the Coastal Empire, reminding you that change doesn't happen alone. When you give to the United Way Community Fund, you help provide a pathway to financial independence so they can provide for their families. Please give to the United Way, because together we are one.
I'm meteorologist Kyle Dennis. With Storm Team 3, I predict the weather every day, and now you can too, just like us, with the WSAV Weather app. Here's how. Even if you aren't seeing any rain right now, you can still use your app to make your whole day easier. Swipe over to the Storm Team 3 hour by hour. Are you dressing light or loading up on layers? What time should you head to Tybee? And should you really just leave the umbrella at home today? You can check it all when you download your free WSAV Weather app today, available now in the App Store.
Live on the Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week, ready to begin the second half from JC Stadium in Jessup. Alongside Jim Johnson from SouthernPigskin.com, I'm WSAV Sports Director Greg Talbot. 14-7 at the end of the first half, and Jim, this is pretty much what we expected, but often I kind of have an idea of what we're going to see in the second half. I could not tell you what's on the way.
The first half was so chaotic between the turnovers, the big plays, numerous penalties. I'm with you. There is high chaos potential here in the second half.
All right, so the Statesboro offense will get the ball to begin the second half. They scored a touchdown early in the first quarter and were held scoreless since, although they certainly have their chances. This is Lipsy to return. He's a slippery, athletic running back for them, and he's past the 35. All right, so that's this game. I do want to take a second to read off a couple of scores brought to you by Jim's colleagues over at ESPN Coastal, other big high school football scores tonight. At halftime, Calvary up on Savannah Christian, but it's a close game, 21-16 back in the city limits. Richmond Hill up 21-7 on Brunswick. Benedictine, no surprise, leading Windsor Forest 21-0. Bradwell up 16-0 on Effingham County.
Wow, how about that? Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised, frankly, by the Calvary-Savannah Christian result right now.
All right, ready to begin the second half. Statesboro back on offense. Turn that into a gain of 4 yards. Briefly before we return, some other quick scores. This one might surprise you, Jim. McIntosh County Academy up on Country Day 14-7 at the break.
And we thought this might be the week that Country Day's luck started to run out. I'll be interested to see what the second half looks like, though, because they've been able to pull some rabbits out of hats.
That was Andrell Grace on the carry. Turns that into a gain of about 5 yards. So here's second down and 5. That's Grace back there in the backfield again alongside the senior QB Drake Horton. He'll take the carry, and the linebackers are there for Wayne County to gobble him up, but he got into the real teeth of the defense and came awfully close to the chains.
A little bit more of what I think we expected coming into the game from Statesboro's offense. They are running the ball between the tackles, and whereas that wasn't working in the first half, we've now seen them get a couple of successful plays and stay on schedule, stay ahead of the sticks. That's going to be important as they do try to maybe go a little more ball control in this second half and dictate the pace of the game.
And he did pick up the first down by about a half yard. So the Statesboro offense is moving under head coach Jeff Kaiser in his third season. They've gotten a couple of big wins on the WSAV Blitz the last couple of years, but this would certainly be the biggest. They go downfield again into coverage, and it's hauled in. It's Lipsy, and it's a touchdown. Statesboro's right back in it, but we do hear some penalty whistles and flags. Back at the line of scrimmage. It's in the backfield. That is not good news for Statesboro. It looks like it's coming back.
That's really unfortunate. That was a perfectly thrown ball through where only his receiver could get it and no one else. Reeled it in, would have been a touchdown. Those sort of unforced errors can cost you ball games.
That's a heartbreaker and a backbreaker for Blue Devil fans, huh?
It's a 10-yard penalty against Statesboro. Takes the ball back to the
That's a holding on the offense. We'll take a look at the replay here in a second, although I'll tell you, when I was watching that play develop, I'm not even sure I saw it in the pocket. Maybe 75.
Let's go, defense!
Well, that's a backbreaker. That touchdown comes on back, so all of a sudden they're staring down. First down and 20. They got to get up to midfield on this play, so what's Horton going to do? He'll turn and hand it off. This is to Roberson. He had a couple of big breakaway plays in the first half. Gets toward the 45, so that next play will be doable yardage, but that's just a heartbreaker for Statesboro. How do you get your momentum back there, Jim?
Sure, and it's just, I think, continuing to run your offense. You've seen now every play from scrimmage has been a successful one for Statesboro thus far. Aside from that penalty, they moved the ball effectively on this Wayne County defense.
17.
I think they've come out and seemed to want it a little bit more in this second half.
Actually, I take that back, folks. That was such a big penalty. They've actually got to get down to the 40-yard line, not the 50. So now second down, and I would call it 17 yards. Roberson back there in the backfield alongside Horton. And it looks like Statesboro jumped.
We have a penalty flag on the field.
Another unforced error.
Okay, Jim, I do want to ask you here. We have seen some sloppy play by both teams. In terms of talent on the field,
will bring up
what's your takeaway after the first half? I think Wayne County might just have bigger breakaway players.
And 22,
Wayne County,
the
certainly in the
line.
skill positions, probably has a little more talent, though Jalen Roberson is arguably the most talented player on the field with the ball in his hands. The difference to me has been in the trenches on both sides of the ball, where Wayne County has the advantage, but Statesboro's executing.
Second and more than 20. This might be a timeout from Statesboro.
Timeout, Statesboro.
And it is with 9:48 to go in the third quarter. We'll take a quick break on WSAV. Back on the Friday Night Blitz. Statesboro trying to make that touchdown back up. That's a backbreaker.
That was so bad.
That wasn't even a necessary hold.
Oh, I know. For the first time, they actually had decent pass blocking. The kid had time. He threw a dime.
Can't believe it. That's an absolute stinker for them. From Wayne County High School, the Friday Night Blitz on WSAV is brought to you by our local Savannah and Low Country Honda dealers. Get a great deal on a Honda you will love. See your Savannah and Low Country Honda dealer today to see what's new. Well, on the first drive of the second half, Statesboro scored a touchdown, but it was called back for a penalty. And after a couple more penalties, they now have second down and almost 25 yards to go. All right, so Drake Horton, their senior quarterback in his second year as QB1, has not been afraid to throw it downfield tonight, but we've also seen 3 interceptions. Here's Jalen Roberson out of the backfield. Wayne County is anticipating run. It's a short gain, if any.
Number 7 on the carry,
A little post-play
Robertson.
fighting as well. No surprise that chippiness was eventually going to start in a region game.
Tackle by number 2.
A little bit earlier, we did have the
Brings up
personal foul in the first half, but in a game like this, with these two teams, both physical teams and a little bit of a rivalry, I would not be surprised to see this carry over throughout the remainder of the contest.
All right, third down and about 15 yards. Horton's uncorked a couple tonight. Delayed blitz from the linebackers, and it works again.
Ray Horton set by number 10, Logan Pritchard.
That was Logan Pritchard in there first.
No surprise there. Pritchard is an upper echelon passer, especially at the high school level.
Tell us where you see him playing at the next level, Jim.
Sure, and I think with Pritchard, he's probably more of an outside linebacker in college. Just play defensive end, and he could maybe get away with defensive end, but I like him as a 3-4 outside linebacker.
That's a muffed punt. And he's able to get rid of it with the rugby kick. It looks like Wayne County might have touched it. Did he? Yes, he did. Davis touched that with his arm or his knee, and Statesboro gets a second chance at life in Wayne County territory.
And that's the second mistake we've seen from Wayne County on special teams in this game. The opening kickoff got a little bit dicey. Now, that one didn't cost him. This one very much could.
Wow.
The Statesboro ball. Ball the 39-yard line.
I tell you, both teams, you've seen a couple of muff snaps on regular snaps and then on kicks, too.
How about the wherewithal with
that
the
got
punter
him.
there?
That definitely got him.
Oh, sure.
All right, so Statesboro with a new chance at life inside the 40-yard line of Wayne County. They turn in, they give to Grace as he tries to get the edge. Maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe 1 yard on the play. Really smart by Wayne County to not let him get the edge.
Yeah, just never found anywhere to cut the ball up, and maybe he could have cut it a little earlier, but nothing going on that one.
We have a penalty flag on the field.
This appears to be
Injury timeout.
Jacoby Edenfield, and a flag on the play, too. That could be a late hit on the far sideline.
Personal foul against the Yellow Jackets.
And that is a personal foul against Wayne County. So when this drive appeared to be dead for Statesboro, a special teams mistake from Wayne County and now an unnecessary late tackle, Statesboro's going to get this ball in awfully good field position.
Yeah, it's been interesting since that the would-be touchdown came back. Statesboro had been moving the ball effectively, and then had the would-be touchdown that gets called back, and all of a sudden it sort of flipped. Wayne County's defense is executing in the run of play, but then they're just making these unforced errors, penalties, the turnover on special teams, and now Statesboro's got an opportunity to tie this ball game.
All right, they're going to mark this ball just outside the 20-yard line. And Drake Horton doesn't have that much further to go. Linebacker blitz coming. I think Wayne County might have jumped. I think he was trying to jump the snap. I take it back. No free play that time, and that one's on the Statesboro offensive line. So they've been saved by the penalty. Live by it, die by it, Jim.
Yeah, I thought Wayne had jumped there too. This might be a spot to take a shot, though. With all the athletes on Wayne's defense, the closer you get to the end zone, the tougher it can actually be to score. I might look for 6 on this play.
Looks like they're following your advice. They'll go for the end zone. Into coverage, it's off the hands. And incomplete, he was going for Marcus Brinson. And Kalijah Hartzog on defense knocked it away at the last minute.
What a play by Hartzog to get his hands in there. That's good ball skills. You know, we talk about just ball skills as interceptions and doing something with it, but getting your hand in there, having the awareness to find the receiver with it, punch the ball out. That was a great defensive play by Hartzog. Another one of those guys, you know, Wayne County has some smaller guys that aren't going to be top-level recruits, but they're going to be really good Division II football players. Hartzog's one of them.
So a called back touchdown and a drop touchdown on this drive. They'll feed the middle to Grace. Not going very far, maybe up to the 25-yard line. Bringing up a big third down. And if you're a Statesboro fan watching this, Jim, are you just endlessly frustrated on this drive? Or are you feeling lucky to be here in the first place?
I think it's a mixed bag, right, Greg? I mean,
take points where you can get them in this game.
Yeah, you got to take the bad with the good, I guess. They're moving the ball. And yeah, they shot themselves in the foot a couple times, but you're right there with a team that a lot of folks didn't think you'd be in there with.
Third down and 12. They've got to get to the 11. Empty backfield except Roberson. Horton steps up. Looking downfield, and he's going to go down. Big stop by the Wayne County defense.
And that's more of what we've seen throughout tonight. There have been a couple plays on this drive where the offensive line for Statesboro has stepped up and given him time. That was not the case there. That was a little bit more of what we saw in the first half where the pressure just got overwhelming. Tried to make a play there at the end, but just wasn't enough time.
All right, so fourth down. Statesboro doesn't have a kicker for quite this distance, so they're going to go for it. They have to get down to the 11. You know Wayne County is going to bring pressure, and they do. Horton, it looks like he overshot his man, and he did. He was going for Brinson, who hadn't quite gotten past his corner yet, and that was just two guys who miscommunicated.
Yeah, a little bit. Didn't look like they were on the same page. If he would have just run through that ball, maybe he would have had a chance, but you had to get rid of it. I mean, the pressure was clearly coming. Arguably might have been a hold on that one as well.
It almost looked like he stopped running.
I was going to say, it didn't look like they were on the same page as far as the route. He was maybe running a little hitch and go, and the quarterback just looked to the end zone.
And I'll tell you now, if Wayne County scores on this drive, Statesboro fans are going to have an aneurysm. New first down, Pierce on the QB keeper on the RPO. Campers past the 30 for a good game. I'll tell you, the first half, the Wayne County quarterback, Trey Pierce, was the agony and the ecstasy.
Oh, man. I mean, talk about a mixed bag. You had the pair of interceptions, but you also had a couple of remarkable runs that just show off how high his ceiling is once he puts it all together.
Another big tackle, by the way, for Statesboro by Ames Ratcliffe. He's been all over the field tonight. Second down and short coming up here. Second down and 1 for Wayne County. Good snap. They will feed to McBride. He's been explosive tonight. He's been past the 40 for a big first down. And no surprise when we talked to Cannon Cribb this week about this kid. He said his biggest asset was his field vision. That's a perfect example. It looked like a blown play, and he turned it into a first down.
Yeah, it's like Le'Veon Bellish, right? The patience there to wait for something to open up. He's not forcing the issue. And then how about the lowering the shoulder, pick up a couple yards after contact there at the end.
Ken Cribb says that McBride can take a blown play and turn it into 5 yards all the time. And
you say I am left.
yes, a good example of that. New first down. Here goes McBride. Again, turning not a lot of space into a big run toward midfield to call that 9 yards.
He's turning nothing into more than 5 yards, Coach Cribbs. Give some credit.
McBride and Hadley, a really great 1-2 running back combo. And considering last year was all about MJ Fuller for Wayne County, the fact that you have two guys like Hadley and McBride, it almost seems like they're making up together for the loss of MJ Fuller.
I was going to say, and in some ways, it's arguably more dangerous, right, to have those two that can spell each other. Now, I'll take an MJ Fuller any day of the week, but two backs like this to make up that sort of production is just as good.
Actually give him the first down as they throw to the far side into coverage. That was nearly Pierce's third interception, and it would have been the second for Ratcliffe. He had his hands on it.
Yeah, he's actually thrown 2, probably should have thrown 2 more. And again, that's the flip side of the coin. We've talked about the rushing ability. We've talked about his production with his legs. But this is where it gets dangerous. This is where it can get hairy. Wayne County has so much skill position talent. I don't want to slight the quarterback too much, but at this rate, there could be a play that costs them points on the other end.
2nd down and 10, RPO. They'll give it to Hadley as he tries to get the angle on the outside. Somehow manages to get about 4 yards on that play, bringing up a manageable 3rd down. And I'll tell you, even though Wayne County is gaining yardage on these plays, it seems like their defensive line is learning on the Statesboro side and limiting what could be more.
Yeah, it feels like Statesboro's defense is adapting to the pace of play and the ability of these guys. You can't be so uber aggressive. You have to gang tackle and maybe play a little bit more bend, don't break than you had. Let them get 1 or 2. Just don't let them get 10 or 20.
3rd down and 6. Hadley there in the backfield with McBride. 2 running backs. And they'll pitch it to McBride. He's not going to get the 1st down. Maybe picked up 2 yards on the play, bringing up 4th. So if you're Ken Cribb, is this punt territory? You're on the Statesboro side of the 50. So we will see. Ken Cribb is a typically go-for-it kind of coach on offense. And it looks like he will do that again here. Interesting formation. This is 4th down and 3, but they're going out of the bunch. And they got Statesboro to jump. You have got to be kidding me.
Wow, the one thing that you can't do. And
wow.
Given the 3 yards to go there, it's a little bit surprising. I mean, that's just a straight-up mistake. I mean, sure, inches, but you can't be expecting them to run a play out of that, right?
So that's a new 1st and 10. If you're the Blue Devil defense, you have to know that all they're trying to do there is draw you off sides.
Yeah, exactly. That's your one thing. You cannot bite on the hard count.
Jeff Kaiser doesn't know whether he looks to be. He doesn't know if he should be mad or humorous or what. Hadley tries to spin off a tackle, picks up 5 or 6 yards on the play. So both of these offenses should have been dead on their opening drives of the 2nd half, but they both managed to eke some yards and extra series out of it. Although, in case you're just joining us, this is only Wayne County's 1st possession of the 2nd half. Statesboro ate 6 minutes.
And you're starting to see maybe Wayne's offensive line lean on the Statesboro D-line a little bit more than they were able to in the 1st half.
On 2nd down, Hadley bounces to the outside, turns upfield, but then takes a big hit as he goes down from Gabeduwu.
But again, this pair of backs is just manufacturing yards. Nice little jump cut there to pick up a few more than he otherwise would have.
And I'll tell you, Statesboro's line is doing a good job going east-west. When it comes north-south, Wayne County's getting the push.
And they just, I mean, from a pure physical standpoint, that's where they're going to have an advantage all night. You're going to have to figure out more creative ways to adjust.
3rd and 2, bunch formation again. Pierce pushes forward. I'm not sure he got that. Looks like the Statesboro front made the stop, bringing up 4th down again, but if Ken Cribb went for it back on the 45, you know he's going to go for it even closer to the end zone.
Oh, sure. Yeah, why not?
And now if you're Statesboro, you've got to go out there knowing that they're going to try to draw you off sides again.
That is a curious offensive set there.
And it looks like Wayne County wants a timeout.
Just like the Yellow Jackets, Harrison Company, certified public accountants, never fall short of the goal. Wishing the Yellow Jackets a winning season.
Jim, I cannot believe we're almost to the end of the 3rd quarter. By the way, the sports page of WSAV.com is loaded with great college football content, and Southeastern Stream Live is your connection to college football across the SEC. Georgia, Bama, Gamecocks, Florida, we got you covered. See you in an episode every Thursday on the sports page of WSAV.com. Speaking of the SEC, Connor Del Prete and I are driving to Athens, Georgia tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. We're getting very little sleep. We're going to go cover that Georgia-South Carolina game for you. So if you want your local angle on that coverage, a couple local players on both Georgia and South Carolina we will be there covering it. Watch us at 6 and 11 tomorrow night on WSAV.
Enjoy that drive up at 7.
I will be asleep. Connor gets the first leg. Also, make sure to read Jim's articles on the SEC on southernpigskin.com. Free advertising.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Love it. 4th
down for Wayne County. Shamar Taylor in motion. Haven't seen much out of him in the second half. They feed Hadley.
15,
he dives forward.
Hadley.
And this will take us down inside a minute on 2nd and long here to go in the 3rd quarter. All right, Jim, usually the 3rd quarters in high school football games drag on pretty long. We didn't even see 2 complete drives.
I was going to say, that one flew by 2 possessions. Not even 2 possessions, I guess. That's Wayne County scores right here. That was a little bit more ball control, a little bit more contained, we'll say, than anything remotely that we saw in the first half.
This will likely be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Hadley, the motion man. Pierce looks downfield. He'll keep it himself on the RPO. Spun down on a great late saving tackle that time. That was Austin Arendas who brought him down. And that's the end of the 3rd quarter on WSAV. Wayne County still up a touchdown. No scores in the 3rd. One big Yellow Jacket touchdown, though, to begin the 4th. Might start to put it away. Live from Jessup, Georgia, the Friday Night Blitz game of the week on WSAV is brought to you by our local Ford dealers. Ford, go further. At the end of 3, Wayne County on top of Statesboro 14-7. That was, by the way, already our halftime score. 3rd down and 7 for Wayne County. Antoine McBride dives forward. He's not going to pick up the 1st down. But, Jim, they've already gone for it twice on 4th on this drive and converted both times.
Yeah, no reason to stop now. I'd be curious to see if they come out in that same set. It's a little bit unique, especially on the first time they ran it with 3 yards to go. And obviously, they drew the offsides with the hard count, but it's a pretty unique little personnel grouping that Coach Cribbs come up with.
All right, they're going to call this maybe 4th down and 4 yards.
4th and 4.
McBride and Hadley, the usual suspects, but Shamar Taylor and Terrell Wright have been breakout stars on offense. Trey Pierce, the QB, is also sometimes prone to keep it. Did Statesboro jump again?
We have a penalty flag on the field. Preliminary indication. Offsides against Statesboro.
That's the 2nd time this drive.
Wow.
On 4th down.
5-yard penalty.
They've just bailed Wayne County out twice on this drive.
If Wayne County punches in a touchdown because of what happened here on those 2 4th downs, Jeff Kaiser is going to make those kids run a little bit extra on Monday morning, huh?
I was at 17, 1st and 10, Yellow Jackets.
1st down and 10, Wayne County. Now down inside the Statesboro 20-yard line. This drive is starting to feel inevitable now. Pierce into coverage. Hauled in. Shamar Taylor. Touchdown, Wayne County.
Shamar Taylor for Wayne County.
And that's a backbreaker for Statesboro.
This touchdown is sponsored by Socheros.
Made that one look easy. I know Pearson struggled to push the ball downfield in this game. A couple interceptions, but hit him right there on the slant. Could have walked in.
That drive should have been done twice on 2 separate 4th downs. And Statesboro jumped offside twice.
And what an unbelievable momentum swing in the past 2 drives where Statesboro just as easily could have tied the game. Matter of fact, they did. If not for a holding call. And now all of a sudden it's a 2-score game.
Left in the game, score now. Wayne County.
All right, and Statesboro is all of a sudden in a spot where they've kind of got their backs against the wall, because scoring once on this Wayne County team has been hard enough. In fact, Statesboro scored, I believe, Jim, it was their opening drive and have not scored since.
It was the second drive.
Second drive, because the first one was an interception.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, if you can call that a drive.
Yeah, so their first real sustained drive resulted in a touchdown in the 1st quarter. They have not scored since, and Wayne County has now scored 3 unanswered touchdowns.
And on the one hand, at least in the second half, granted, we've only seen 1 drive from Statesboro in the second half because of the way that 3rd quarter unfolded. They moved the ball well. The reason they didn't score on that drive was only themselves. It wasn't Wayne County's defense. So the way they've played tonight, where it hasn't been so ball control, they've been willing to go up tempo, they've been willing to push the ball downfield. I'm not sure I'm quite ready to count them out, but they're in a bad spot.
Kickoffs tonight brought to you by the law firm of Farah and Farah, and all of a sudden, as the Statesboro offense gets ready to get this one back, Jim, I would call this the most crucial drive on offense for the Statesboro Blue Devils all night.
Sure, the way Wayne County has run the ball tonight, and with those offensive linemen, the way you know they can milk the clock if they so choose. If you don't get points here, the game is probably all but over.
All right, so what can Drake Horton and his band of brothers do? They do get pretty good field position after the fair catch. They'll get this one from about the 25-yard line. But if you're the Wayne County defense and that ball goes in the air, you're trying for the back-breaking interception now, right?
Absolutely.
All right, new 1st and 10. They'll hand off to Roberson. He's been a beast tonight, fights off a couple of tackles, turns that into a gain of about 7 yards.
And you've seen Wayne County adjust, just as how Statesboro's defensive line has adjusted to the power of Wayne County. Wayne County's defense has adjusted to the athleticism of Roberson. They're willing to let him get a yard or two, but they're playing off him and wrapping up, letting other guys get there to help bring him down and preventing him from getting to the edge.
This play will take us down inside 10 minutes by the time we get to the next one. 2nd down and 5. Delay blitz coming to the air. That one is hauled in. Past the 40-yard line and a big catch for James Flagg. That's his 3rd and a 1st down.
That's big. That's a nice confidence builder to get this offense rolling again, where you know the players weren't feeling good after that last drive, despite moving the ball well. Those sort of unforced errors can really take a toll on you mentally, psychologically. This looks like an offense that can come back and get in this game.
I'll tell you, Taylor and Flagg are two big, good possession receivers for Statesboro tonight. And whistles coming in. That one's on Statesboro again. That is 3 brutal ones here in the last 10 minutes, Jim.
You just can't take those when you're trying to come back against a team that is this talented. But it is a good point you bring up with those receivers. Those guys do have a matchup advantage against Wayne County's smaller, granted very athletic, but smaller cornerbacks.
I've been surprised they haven't just thrown up more jump balls. But I mean, they've done a couple in key spots, but there's miscommunication with Drake Horton, their QB. Here it goes, more delayed linebacker blitzes. Horton into coverage, off the hands of Flagg, but a flag comes in. That might be PI.
Comes back to the 4 from Hartsock. There is a penalty flag on the field.
That flag's on Elijah Hartzog.
Hartzog who came up through with a huge play earlier. That one's going to cost Wayne County a little bit. Let Statesboro keep this drive alive. And that is what you want to see. You can see the height advantage right there, where Hartzog's an elite athlete, but he's just not that big. These Statesboro wide receivers and pass catchers are going to be able to body up on them a little bit.
All right, so that penalty puts him just on the other side of the 50. And Statesboro not going down without a fight inside 10 minutes. Horton rolls, looks downfield and uncorks another one into coverage. The only man in the neighborhood was Lipsy, and Hartzog nearly made up for it with an interception.
Yeah, he sure did, and that was not a great ball. I do like Statesboro rolling him out there, though. The one problem with their downfield passing game has not so much been the quarterback play, it's been the protection. They've been allowing pressure all night, so rolling out the quarterback to allow him just even that one extra beat to get the proper ball off could be the difference. Now, it wasn't on that play, but I'll be interested to see if they continue to do that going forward.
They've certainly got talent on the Statesboro offense, but it seems like the chemistry just isn't there on a couple of these plays. Roberson brought down in the backfield. What a tackle coming in that time.
And that's a huge play by Cameron Williams there to get him from behind. You know what Roberson can do once he gets to top speed, but cutting him down in the backfield before he can get up there to that final gear is huge, especially coming from the backside.
All right, this drive looked awfully good for Statesboro. Now they're stuck on 3rd down and 12. And if you're Wayne County, do you play prevent or do you guard the 12 yards? Because you know they're going to uncork one.
Yeah, I think you got to watch the sticks, and they've been able to get pressure with 4.
You bet. More pressure with 4, and for the second straight play, it's Williams.
And that's been the problem all night. I really have a hard time pinning very much of this on the quarterback. Wayne County has gotten pressure, whether it's with 3, 4, 5 pass rushers, very consistently outside of a handful of plays where they've ultimately delivered good balls and ripped off some chunk gains. The offensive line just hasn't really held up their end of the bargain, and in fairness, that's a pretty tough task against this defensive front for Wayne County.
All right, so 4th down and gosh, about 20 yards. And it looks like this is their last, this is Statesboro's last stand. They're gonna go for it. 4th down and 20 with Drake Horton. Has a couple of seconds. Low throw. Hartzog in coverage. No flag. And Wayne County, all they've got to do now is move the ball downfield, and that might pretty much do it with 8 minutes to go.
Yeah, I know he was trying to place that where only his receiver could get it, but I'd like him to put that one up in the air a little bit.
We'll take a break on WSAV. Wayne County trying to put the nail in the coffin. Next. The Friday Night Blitz game of the week on Big WSAV. We are Big Shots tonight is brought to you by your Savannah and Low Country Honda dealers. Score a great deal on a Honda you will love, only at your local Savannah and Low Country Honda dealer. Well, Statesboro went for it on 4th down and 20. Newly down a pair of touchdowns here early in the 4th quarter, and now, Jim, Wayne County gets really good field position on the Statesboro side of the 50. One more touchdown would pretty much do it.
Yeah, that would be the game here for Wayne County.
So let's see if they can do it. Up the middle, they feed to McBride. Pretty good tackle in the second unit there by the Statesboro defense, holding him to gain maybe 2 or 3 yards on the play. But in case you're just joining us, Statesboro fans have to be feeling for these kids right now because on their last offensive drive, they scored a touchdown, but it was called back.
Yeah, there's just been a little too much laundry on the field for Statesboro tonight, and sometimes you can get away with that, but tonight the penalties have been pretty excruciating because of the plays that have come back.
And then don't forget, Wayne County scored on their last drive, and as Pierce turns upfield, gets to the 40 before he's taken down. Short gain of play, bringing up 3rd. Last time Wayne County was on offense, lest we forget, they had it 4th down twice. Statesboro jumped offside both times.
The Statesboro defense is starting to show some signs of life, and they played a good game. I mean,
oh yeah.
With how powerful this Wayne County offense can be.
Wayne County is scoring about 40 points a game on offense. If you hold them to 20, you did a good job.
Oh sure, and I mean, if they can get a stop right here, this game is back on.
Absolutely. Well, this is a big 3rd down and 8. 6.5 minutes to go. Question is if Ken Cribb wants to keep this clock running. He's going to dump it off to Khalees Hadley. Gets out of bounds, temporarily stops the clock, but it looks like he's a couple yards short. He needed to get to around the 30 and didn't quite get there. So a 4th down and 5. I imagine they'll keep the offense on the field because they got Statesboro to jump twice tonight on 4th down already.
I was going to say, Cribb has been hyper-aggressive, but it's paid off pretty much every time.
And it looks like they will go for it here. 4th down and 5, 6 minutes to go. If you're Statesboro, maybe put one guy on the D-line and keep everyone else back. Pierce out of the gun, Hadley and McBride with him in the backfield. One linebacker down for Statesboro. And the timeout on the field with 5:42 to go in this game tonight. Hey fans, WSAV is a proud member of the Jacksonville Jaguars TV network, where every Sunday is Jags Day. If you're not keeping up with them, you're missing out because, Jim, I would say now is a pretty wild time to be a fan.
Sure.
Get your Jaguars fill every Sunday at noon on WSAV-CW with Jaguars Weekend. Coach Doug Marone joins us to look back on last week's game and get you ready for the day ahead in the NFL. Get ready for kickoff with Jaguars Weekend. It's better than Sunday brunch with your in-laws. Sundays at noon on the CW. Minshew Mania. That's fun.
Sure, yeah, if you're into that sort of thing. I mean,
not much of a Minshew guy, are you, Jim?
Gardner Minshew's fine.
I'm interested to hear more of your take. Why are you not a big Gardner Minshew guy?
No, all right, I like Gardner Minshew. I would say the Jags is not my personal brand of football.
Okay. I can understand not loving the Jags. Although, Gardner Minshew, to me, I think is pretty unimpeachably fun.
Now, all right, Minshew is great. Don't
Thank
love
you.
the Jags.
4th down and 5. Not allowed to say that on WSAV. That's off-brand. Jim's getting yelled at by the guys on our truck for saying that. We're a Jaguars station, Jim. Have some integrity and sell out. They're going to punt on 4th down. Down inside the 5. 5.5 minutes to go in this game, and I would say as Statesboro gets this ball back, because they have been so willing to throw deep, Jim, I would say they're still in this thing.
I was going to say, with their matchup advantages that they have on the perimeter against the undersized defensive backs for Wayne County, there are some big plays to be had. It all comes down to the protection. If the offensive line will stand up to this, granted, very talented defensive front for Wayne County, and allow them some time to get downfield, there are some big play potential.
All right, here comes Statesboro. They're up against the shadow of their own goalpost, though, inside the 10. Horton throws to the far side into coverage, and it's caught by Flag. Stiff arms one of his defenders, brought down next to Delise Hadley. He gets up to the 45.
And this has been on. Statesboro's offense has played well in this second half. It's only been the mistakes. It's only been the penalties that have held them back. They can move the ball in this Wayne County team. They have shown that throughout the most of the contest so far. If they can get 6 here, they are right in it.
James Flagg has been a big-time playmaker for them tonight, especially when it matters on big 2nd and 3rd downs.
When he's such a big target, he's got that large catch radius. You can just kind of put the ball near him, and then he can make a play after the catch, too.
All right, new 1st down. Horton dumps it off. He's got Taylor, falls forward toward the 50-yard line. Call it 5 yards on the play. But that's going to keep the clock going. Didn't get out of bounds. We're down inside 5 minutes.
Now, I don't mind that there. Getting the ball out quick to mix it up a little bit of a change of pace. Obviously, you want to push the ball downfield, yes, but you don't want to be overly predictable even in this situation because there is still 4.5 minutes left. It's not like we're talking about a 2-minute drill.
No, but they're going to have to take a shot downfield. They got to score 2 touchdowns. Horton is going to throw downfield. Off the hands of Brinson, but he and his corner were all over each other. I'm surprised we do not see a penalty flag.
Could have seen flags arguably in either direction.
Yeah, I was going to say on offense or defense.
And you've seen that a couple of times, right, tonight, where there have been big plays that balls have either just gotten dropped or there have been good plays by the defensive back. That one to me is more in the drop category.
It's region time.
That should have taken him down inside the 15, but all of a sudden it's 3rd down and 5. Back at midfield. This is a huge 3rd down for the Statesboro offense, trying to get back in this thing. Both teams have 2 touchdowns, or rather 2 timeouts. Big difference. Horton chased, pressure, near side, off the fingertips.
Another one, just another missed opportunity with a little bit of drop, and some of these just seem like focus drops to me. These are good receivers. They can be better than that. Just gotta look the ball in.
All right, time for 4th down again for the Blue Devils. Taylor almost had a sack from the other side again, didn't he?
Yeah, these guys can fly up front for Wayne.
Big 4th down for Statesboro. 4th down and 6. Statesboro's last stand. Horton overshot Flag in what was headed for double coverage, and that's probably not going to make Jeff Kaiser happy.
No.
Because there have been some really good decisions by Drake Horton tonight, but that was not one of them.
There have. It looked like before that play. And look, I get it. Flag is your best option.
But when Hadley's sitting there knowing it's coming his way and he gets to double cover him.
That's the thing is he had decided where he was throwing that ball before the ball was snapped. And in that situation, okay, yeah, I get it. You want to get the ball to your playmaker, but you got to move through your progression there.
All right, so here's Wayne County going for the nail in the coffin. They had a chance on their last drive, but could not convert on 4th down. And they take over on the Statesboro 49. And let's see if Trey Pierce can finish this one off. Bad snap over the head of Pierce. Able to recover and look upfield. He just has to go down at this point, and he does. That could have been a big game changer. Instead, he falls down between the 35 and the 40. But he gets to keep the clock moving.
I'll be interested to see how Statesboro decides to utilize their timeouts here.
Well, don't forget, you got to drive down the field twice and score both times. I mean, an onside kick will help you one time because we're entering that time of the game, but
you do. After a play like that, though, I guess you could wait one more, but in general, I'm in favor of when in doubt, call timeout and just leave as much time as possible for yourself.
Second down and 23. Pierce on the keeper. Down he goes around the 40-yard line, managed to pick up about 5 yards on the play. Bringing up 3rd down and a long way to go here.
I thought he might create a little bit more magic there like we've seen a handful of times tonight. Just couldn't quite stay on his feet there. But, man, he has been impressive running the ball throughout this evening.
No timeout from Statesboro head coach Jeff Kaiser, so I guess he's going to wait to use him on offense. Third down and 19 for Wayne County, down inside 3 minutes. So Statesboro might not be totally dead yet. 3 down linemen. Pierce steps up and he's going to run. He's got to get down past the Statesboro 40. He's not going to get anywhere close. And the question is, will they burn a timeout? Not yet. This thing is going to run down inside 2 minutes if they don't call it. And now they are. That is the timeout for Statesboro. They have 1 left.
Okay, so they've left them 1 left for offense or, well, no, I mean, at this point you have to get the onside kick, assuming that you do score the touchdown. I still might argue that I would have rather left a little more time on the clock, but nothing you can do about it at this point.
No. All right, fans, just want to remind you, after this game is done, make sure to watch the Friday Night Blitz over on WSAV, but also we have more great sports content for you on the sports page of WSAV.com. Our newest show, WSAV Sports Now. Every week we talk college football and the NFL, even the Jaguars, giving you the local analysis that matters. New episodes every Thursday on the sports page of WSAV.com. Good episode this week. We talked a lot about Georgia Southern entering their bye week and what they need to do to turn the season around.
Certainly some questions lingering after that South Alabama performance.
Lucky to escape with that win on the road after potentially losing in the regulation and then also potentially losing in overtime. The fact they pulled that game out was vintage blue-collar Chad Lunsford football, huh?
The last, I guess, 2 minutes plus overtime in that game were absolutely off the chain. It was bonkers.
Fun belt indeed. All right, looks like Wayne County is going to bring out their punt unit here for 4th down and 18 with 2:24 to go. Man back to receive at the 25. Was that technically a field goal?
Can you do that as a punt? Shouldn't the ball come back to the line of scrimmage?
Let's take a look at the replay. If that looked right to me, I think they should get the ball back at the spot of the snap. But it looks like they're just going to have to go the long way. I guess I don't really understand.
I mean, I know there are a couple of high school rules that I've seen. I mean, I've seen high school rules taken advantage of like that before that are a little strange, but I've never heard of or seen anything like that.
I don't understand, but Statesboro gets the ball back with not great field position inside their own 10-yard line. Roberson up the middle. fights past the 20-yard line, and with 2 minutes to go, they're going to have to start chucking it upfield here, Jim.
I was going to say, I know you're frustrated with the passing game a little bit right now, but don't have any other choice.
Statesboro's had their chances here in the second half. They scored on their second drive, have not scored since, although they've gotten into Wayne County territory plenty. And here comes Horton. Nearly intercepted for the 4th time. We've had 3 interceptions tonight. That would have been number 4.
And that one would have sealed the game, but Statesboro still has life. Again, the decision-making has been really hit or miss from both of these quarterbacks tonight.
Just a reminder, folks, after tonight's game, stick around 11:15 right here on WSAV. We have our Friday Night Blitz highlight show. Highlights from the big games all across the region. That Savannah Christian and Calvary game is awfully good. Back here, though, 2 minutes to go. Pass incomplete on second down, bringing up 3rd and long. Jim, which games of those are you excited to watch? I know you were invested in Country Day against MCA.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Country Day, the way they've been winning recently, and look, they have some great players. That is a good team, but the way in which they've been winning feels unsustainable, and it felt like only a matter of time until the luck would sort of run out.
Very well might be. I would say Country Day MCA, based on the 14-7 halftime score, is the game I'm most excited to see tonight, but Savannah Christian Calvary's good too. 3rd and 10. Horton is going to chuck it up for flag. He was in coverage. No flag. Man, that'll bring up 4th down.
Didn't give him a chance there, but that is the guy you do want to be targeting. Now, you can't do it at the cost of a first down like on the previous drive, where that's the only guy you're looking at. But if you had your druthers, he's who you want going up for a jump ball.
All right, so Statesboro's going to go for it here on 4th down, and if they don't get it, Wayne County gets it on their own about 10-yard line. So this is pretty much going to be the end of this game. Jim, what did we learn tonight about this 5A region?
I think we learned that it's as up for grabs as we previously expected.
4th down for Statesboro. Blitz coming. Horton into coverage, overshot him, and that's pretty much the game. Wayne County is going to get great field position inside the 20, and that'll end this thing. So Wayne County, a lot of individual skill talents, a lot of big guys up front, still finding their identity, I would say.
Yeah, Wayne County still has some work to do. They did not play a clean football game, but I think the fact that they still beat a good Statesboro team by 2 scores just shows you the sort of talent gap that they had. And let's give Statesboro some credit. Holding Wayne County to 21 points, very impressive. The way they moved the ball, though they struggled to finish drives, was very impressive. This is a good team. I think they're still just learning how to win.
I'll tell you what else I'm really looking forward to. Speaking of this 5A Region 2, tomorrow, South Effingham at New Hampstead. That is going to tell us an awful lot about the way this region is going to shake out the rest of the year. Wayne County turns and hands it off to Kalijah Hartzog, and the defense there to gobble him up down inside 90 seconds. All right, so Jim, at the top of the broadcast, you said that entering this year, you liked Wayne County to repeat as region champions, knowing that Ware County has got a lot of talent, knowing all the amount of skill talent that New Hampstead has, and seeing that South Effingham's come out of nowhere this year. Do you still like Wayne County after seeing them tonight?
I do, because though every team in this region is very talented, I think they all still have a lot of work to do, and with Wayne County's pedigree and proven winning track record, that pushes them just very slightly over the top for me.
So we mentioned other games coming up tonight on the Friday Night Blitz highlight show at 11:15 here on WSAV. Bradwell Effingham starting up that 6A region. Very interesting game. Same with Brunswick Richmond Hill. But the bottom of your screen, that's the one. Can Savannah Country Day stay undefeated in region play and move to 6-0 if they can beat McIntosh County Academy? Other big games, Jenkins Southeast Bullock, Calvary Christian rivalry, and May River trying to stay undefeated as well. That's all tonight at 11:15 on WSAV. All right, so Wayne County at this point just trying to wind this one down. 2nd down and 16 after the penalty with about 1:15 to go. Hadley Down inside the 10. Wayne County might not be opposed to one more nail in the coffin, and I'll tell you, things I've been most impressed with tonight for Statesboro, I would say Ames Ratcliffe. He's been terrific on defense. For Wayne County, I think the combination of Hadley and McBride.
Yeah, that running back duo is something else, and replacing MJ Fuller was such a tall task, and I don't know that we could have even expected them to live up to Fuller to the degree that they have. I tell you what, between the two of them, I don't know that you've lost very much at all.
Not between the two of them, I think. You're right. Don't forget all the other guys that Wayne County lost in the offseason. They clearly have stayed on track, and with that knee, the Wayne County Yellow Jackets will move to 5-1 on the regular season. Statesboro drops to 3-3. They've now lost 3 games in a row. But I'll tell you, I think you learned a lot of good stuff about Statesboro tonight. I think they can still win a couple games in this region.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a team that is rebuilding. They're just figuring out how to win, but the foundation is there.
Post-game shows coming up next on the Friday Night Blitz. Wayne County wins this one 21-7. I think we have our stats guy coming in here. Who are the best stats? Give us Pierce, Dan. Give us the quarterback. What does he have? Let's do his stats. Give us number 12, the quarterback, Trey Pierce. We know Eddie had a rushing touchdown, and he had a passing touchdown too, right? 2 touchdowns? 56 rushing yards for the QB, and how many passing yards? Hold on. We're doing the numbers. So the quarterback, Pierce, rushing touchdown, passing touchdown, 56 rushing yards. And we're doing the numbers on the passing yards.
This isn't the story I expected to be telling. 3 years ago, when Batman mysteriously disappeared, it divided Gotham.
Crows represent order, security.
The crows are not the hero of this story, Gotham.
I want to take power. I need you to fix his suit.
The suit is literal perfection.
It will be, when it fits a woman.
Watch Batwoman Sunday at 8 on WSAV CW.
Savannah police issuing a warning about meeting strangers after an incident over the weekend.
Marketplace sites like Craigslist and Facebook are even more popular as the holidays get closer. But after one person was stolen from during a meetup, WSAV knew you'd have concerns. So Joanne Merrigan dug for answers in a 3 on Your Side safety report.
While most transactions will go just fine, you still shouldn't let down your guard.
What's the first thing Savannah police say you need to know to stay safe? Find out now at WSAV.com/transaction safety.
It's a tasty debate with a lot of heritage. The Cuban sandwich. A coat of yellow mustard is spread on the bread, then sliced roast pork, glazed ham, Swiss cheese, and thinly sliced dill pickles are added in layers. Tampa lays claim as a city that birthed the Cuban sandwich, but Miami says not so fast.
Hidden History is brought to you by Georgetown Family Dental. Relaxing, understanding, focused on you.
So, you think it's too early to talk about must-win games. But try telling that to Steeler and Charger fans. Because a win on Sunday night can change everything. It can alter the course of their season and convert the doubters into believers.
You're good.
Steelers, Chargers, all eyes on Sunday Night Football.
I was born.
Welcome back to the WSAV CW Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week. Now, the Farrah and Farrah postgame show.
Well, a big win tonight on live TV on Big WSAV for the Wayne County Yellow Jackets, moving to 5-1 on the regular season with a win over Statesboro that felt a little bit iffy at times, Jim Johnson.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd like to see Wayne play a better, cleaner game if they are going to win the region, as I think we still expect them to. But ultimately, the talent disparity was just too much.
And we had a couple really talented players on offense and defense tonight for Wayne County that were nominations for our play of the game, brought to you by the law firm of Farah & Farah. But ultimately, there was just one big play that really stood out, and it started with the quarterback, Trey Pierce.
Yeah, Trey Pierce, he showed off his ability with his legs all night. Such a challenge to bring that guy down in the open field. Has a little shake, a little bake. Not as great with his arm tonight, but boy, can he move.
I have a feeling we're going to be talking about him in the next segment of the post-game show as well. But for now, that play of the game is brought to you by the law firm of Farah & Farah. Here for you, here for good. We're going to hear from head coach Ken Cribb of the Wayne County Yellow Jackets in our Farah & Farah top performer of the game after the break on the Friday Night Blitz post-game show on WSAV. Are we going to have time to get him up here, Dan, or are we just going to talk about? That's fine. We can just talk about Trey Pierce. We're not going to have time. That's fine. Hey, Dan, do we have a certain time? Do we have a time thing that we've got to hit here on WSAV? Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to double check that. Oh, I don't care. I was just wondering if we have a certain time cue to hit. Okay. We'll wait until you say. I just wasn't sure if we would be out at 10 o'clock. Well, that's not going to be a problem. This is the shortest game we've done this year.
That third quarter was ridiculous.
Hilarious. One drive each.
Yeah. Not even. 1.8 drives.
Okay, I don't see a handheld mic, so I assume.
Just want to give him headphones.
There it is. Okay, yeah, you're right. Now, keep in mind, I'm gonna have to zoom out this shot, and it's gonna show the side of this because there's a tiny little space. Okay, we're just not gonna. We'll try to rejigger some stuff. This is very little space. We're gonna have to get rid of your Apple boxes, Jim. Well, you might have to be if Ken and the kid aren't up here in time. All right, so you stand in your spot here. Maybe I can zoom out just a little bit. Actually, this actually looks okay because we tilted to the side.
Okay.
This is going to look okay. How far can we go until that doesn't? We can go there until it doesn't look okay.
I was born and raised in Savannah. I graduated from high school right here at Jenkins. I'm proud to have been by your side for 26 years on WSAV. Over that time, I've spoken to thousands of people, shared thousands of stories. Being on your side means connecting with you, listening, putting it all in perspective. Getting to know you and telling your stories. That's what I love about WSAV News 3. That's what being on your side is all about.
You look like you're
Rivalries are history.
You're a sophomore?
And hostility.
He got in. Come on in here.
Julius Jackson. Rivalries are epic and edge of your seat.
Touchdown. So there's our camera.
Rivalries are bragging rights and bringing down the house. Rivalries are what make a Fighting Irish and Trojans game so damn good. USC, Notre Dame in prime time on NBC.
WSAV is recognizing the impact of women leaders in our community. We are proud to partner with AWIN to bring you the Covering Women's Conference, a free two-day event aimed to strengthen the bond of sisterhood and provide spiritual, business, and personal guidance to local women. You can also purchase tickets for the event's finale, the Pretty in Pink Fashion Show. Join us October 25th and 26th as we celebrate our community leaders and give local women the tools to build their future.
30 seconds.
I saw billions of deaths. We've got to stop you from vanishing.
We can still change the future.
Oh, great. Another angry one. I have to prepare the team for this crisis.
The Flash, all new episode Tuesday at 8/7 Central, only on the CW.
No matter where you are, Storm Team 3 has you covered. Download the WSAV weather app today, free at the App Store. Welcome back. Now, more of the WSAV CW Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week, Farrah and Farrah postgame show.
Well, a Ken Cribb coached offense always has talent, especially at the skill positions. But tonight's Farrah and Farrah top performer of the game is actually coming out of the quarterback spot. It is the sophomore Trey Pierce. He tells me he just turned 16-year-old. Looked awfully good tonight, Trey. Let's hold that microphone a little closer. We're on live TV. We're going to make some magic here. So first of all, first year as QB1. Shamar Taylor, who's a receiver for you, was the quarterback last year. Coach chose to move you into the QB spot this year. Now you guys are off to a 5-1 start. How does it feel to have turned this offense into something pretty special so fast?
Yes, sir. It feels good. I think he was more comfortable in that position. You know, it kind of worked out both ways for us because I used to play receiver too a little bit. But I think it worked out, for both of us really.
Yeah,
we just kind of went comfortable and we kind of connect a lot.
Well, we're going to show you a couple highlights from tonight's game here on WSAV. And first of all, I know you say Shamar looks comfortable. You looked pretty comfortable in the warm-up.
Yes, sir.
But more importantly, you had a couple of unbelievable runs, including what was our play of the night, that 56-yard breakaway. The fact that you were able to turn up field and then take it in from the 10 when you juked that guy out.
Yes, sir.
Did it feel like you were going to take that one all the way in?
I don't know. I kind of took it slow for a second, then.
Hold on, Trey. I'm going to give you this other headset because I don't think that microphone's working.
Yes, sir.
There we go. Go ahead.
It was kind of slow for a second. I didn't see the hole, and then it kind of opened up a little bit.
Here it was.
And
Take
then
us
you see
through
me
it.
take off right there, and I finally found it and just broke it outside and outran everybody.
Do you feel more comfortable running or passing?
I think I feel a little bit more comfortable running just because I have good vision running. Passing, I'm still learning a little bit, and I'm learning a lot of stuff